is the chess song. हाँ चेस में जो ये मजा है इसके इतने सारे रंग सीखे खेले आजमाए चेस बेस इंडिया के संग चेस थ्योरी इन-डेप्थ कमेंटरी यहाँ कवरेज है बेमिसाल इम्प्रूवमेंट होगी तेरी ब्लंडर से ब्रिलियंसी बनना चाहे तू भी तार
Pragg OP guys.
शतरंज का कमाल शतरंज का कमाल शतरंज का कमाल शतरंज का कमाल शतरंज का कमाल
देख ले मुझे मैं आंखें मिला लूं ट्रैप लगा के मैं नर्वस करा दूं तुझे क्या पता तू करेगा खता फिर मैच की कथा को प्रथा बना दूं टिक टाइम जा रहा है नीचे प्रेशर तुझे मिस्टेक में खींचे गुरुजी ने इसे काबल बनाया पीसेस के यूं खड़े कर दूंगा बगीचे
1 मिनट बगीचे
हाँ बगीचे अटैकिंग प्लेयर हो यार
checks captures threats in this position हर मन में खोज ले बेस्ट डिसीजन जब हो जाए सही कैलकुलेशन इससे बेटर फीलिंग नहीं है यार शतरंज का कमाल शतरंज का कमाल शतरंज का कमाल शतरंज का कमाल शतरंज का कमाल
Welcome everyone. This is your host Sagar Shah and we are off today with the 9th round of the Airthings Masters of the Champions Chess Tour 2022. I hope you all are having a great time. What a wonderful day it was yesterday where our young talent Praggnanandhaa managed to beat Carlsen, Aronian, and today here we are. He's taking on the world rapid champion Nodirbek Abdusattorov. I think Nodirbek has kind of frozen there, but look at this opening that Praggnanandhaa has tried. He opened the game with 1 d4. Nodirbek goes knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, d5. It is known as what opening, guys? What is the name of this opening? Aniket 12B says, tomorrow is my state tournament. Too much nervous. Please tell how to overcome. Arey, Aniket, get inspired by Praggnanandhaa, who just beat the world champion. You know, you have such great role models here. Grunfeld, Jitesh Yadav, Shaibi Binoj, No Name, Vandana Chelappa, Meera Tripathi. That is absolutely right. Knight f3, bishop g7, and now he takes. Knight takes and plays his knight to a4. A very interesting move. I don't know if Nodirbek, what happened to him. Let's see if we can get him back. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe his camera has just been in some problem. So we have Anish Giri on the screen here. And let's also get Magnus Carlsen, because Magnus is the world champion and there we have him. Okay, we'll hope that Abdusattorov gets his camera back, because if you look at it, he has not even played his move. So maybe it's his internet disconnection here. Knight a4. What is the idea of this move? Can anyone tell me why does white play the knight to the side of the board? Doesn't it look very silly? Yes, the main point is that after castles, he goes e4 and knight takes c3 is not possible. At the same time, c5 is stopped to an extent from the knight. Yes, so that's the reason why this was played. And knight b6, and now Praggnanandhaa is in deep thought because he can play knight c5 as well, putting his knight there. He can also let the knight remain there because it's protected. So he plays bishop to e3. He's played his bishop out. What is my reaction on Sachin's tweet? Guys, I was very happy to see Sachin's tweet. In fact, the tweet was also very nicely made. If you see here, the tweet has saying that what a wonderful feeling it must be for Pragg, all of 16, so he got the age right, and to have beaten the experienced and decorated Magnus Carlsen, and that too while playing with black is magical. So I feel somewhere Sachin should have some chess knowledge, that when he thinks that winning with black is a big deal. And best wishes on a long and successful chess career ahead. You've made India proud. And coming from Sachin, this is big news. And also, if you think about it, guys, Sachin made his debut for Team India when he was 16 years old. So Pragg beating Magnus Carlsen at 16. There are some similarities there between the two greats. Okay, so firstly, Abdusattorov now plays bishop g4. The main idea in Grunfeld is to attack white center. So with bishop g4, he is angling for the d4 pawn. He wants to bring his knight out. Pragg says, right now I have got d4 covered. So he plays bishop e2. Manav Agarwal says, all major news channels covered Pragg's victory. Yeah, exactly. It's very nice to know and I'm very happy. Knight a4, queen a4, c5. And well, c5, the idea is that now if you play d5, you will lose the pawn on b2. So Pragg says, I'll take on c5. This seems to be his preparation still. Bishop takes b2, rook to b1. He's ready to give up his castling rights and plays his king to f1, and he has 15 minutes 35 seconds more than what he began with. And he's telling his opponent that, look, material is equal, but your b7 pawn is weak. My rook is active. The c5 pawn is actually clamping down your position. So very interesting bit of opening prep here by Pragg. And let's see how this goes, because it's a good start for Pragg. He's well prepared. He's looking confident. I mean, if you beat the world champion, wouldn't you feel confident? Yeah. So we can actually check if this has been played before or if this is theory. I don't know if I have prepared that screen for today, but I'll try to bring it up here. So let's just see. Yeah, this one maybe. Okay, let's see if I can bring that up. Yep, there you have it. So this position has been played before. I'll just take this out. Yeah, it has been played before, guys. It has been played 9 times, and the player with white pieces, not very strong, around 2500 rated players. So no top players have played this, I guess. But this is all preparation for Pragg. Pragg is well prepared at this point. Okay, let's fix this. So now we can also check some opening lines whenever they happen on our ChessBase board. Okay, let's go back to our game, and here Nodirbek has gone back bishop c8. Wow, guys, this is taking it a bit too far. Okay, Basically, in order to defend your pawn on b7, you undevelop. I mean, Nodirbek should have given up the pawn with knight c6, rook b7, knight a5, and tried to play actively, but he goes bishop c8. What is the move that Praggnanandhaa should make now? Put yourself in Praggnanandhaa's shoes. What is the move that you will play here? Let's see how many of you can find this. I think there's a very nice move here for Pragg as white, and he can make use of his resources in the position. Let's see. Shaibi Binod says, how many rounds will you cover today? I think I'll cover, I don't know, maybe all 4. Let's see how it goes. Yes, absolutely. Guys, you are right. The move here that has been recommended by Shrey Lata, Pawn Balaji, PV Cuber, Sminil Mahajan, very good. The move here is h4. And with h4, what you are doing is you are making use of your rook, which has remained on h1. If white castles, then the rook comes to f1. But because the rook is still on the h file, you can open it up with h5. And this is a very useful move. Also, if black goes h5, you can go g3, king g2. And then there are no bishop h3 checks because you've already played h4. So, Samay Raina says, what is the problem with g3? Because then bishop h3 check, and somehow the king is boxed in, you know. So we should start off with h4, and I'm sure that Pragg will play h4. It's, yes, Ron Craig, it's a non-castling advantage, right? Let's quickly check a few more games today. Anish Giri is playing against Eric Hansen. Anish Giri is on 12 points. He's right now okay, a nice position for Anish overall. Maybe wants to get his knight in the center. Maybe the other knight goes to d7, b6. That's a typical Sicilian position, which is, I mean, not mainstream, but pretty comfortable for black. Magnus Carlsen is playing against Liem Quang, and white has a nice position here. It seems like Magnus is in some trouble because look at white's position. Center control, knight is well placed on c4, and if let's say you play a waiting move like h6, I'm already ready to go knight d3. I can go a4, a5. There are many plans that white has in this position. So Magnus under pressure against Liem Quang. Liem Quang is the former world blitz champion, so you cannot underestimate him at all. Let's go back to Praggnanandhaa's game. Has he already played his move? No, Pragg is thinking for his move. We are hoping that we can get Praggnanandhaa's opponent back on screen, but it seems very difficult that we will get him. Generally, what happens is if a player loses his camera, then it takes roughly that game for him to come back. So I don't think Nodirbek's camera is going to come back in this game. Why not rook d1, says Rishi Venkatraman in this Pragg game? Well, rook d1 is okay, but then I just go queen c7. And the main thing is that the rook on b1 is doing a fantastic job putting pressure here. Shubhankar Das says, Sagar bhai, what are your views on COB gang war? Oh, I'm very excited. In fact, it's one of the most looked forward events in chess, COB. So many people follow chess, have started following chess because of it, and I'm very excited. As always, Samay comes up with new ideas. We've discussed many things in the past, and we hope that it'll be very exciting this time. Of course, I'll be commentating along with Samay, so you'll have good fun. It would be insane if Pragg wins against Nodirbek. I agree, Shaibi. And I think with the opening selection that Pragg has done, he has excellent chances. And you know, guys, h4 h5 is just the right kind of plan, because when the bishop is not on g7 and when the pawn is here, it's a hook. So you naturally get attracted to this idea. And I would be very surprised if Pragg does anything else here. I mean, what else do you play? Did you speak with Pragg yesterday? Yes, of course. I congratulated him. Also, he said thanks. And I asked him yesterday itself if we could, you know, after the game, he said, let's do it after the tournament. And I would, of course, respect that. You know, for Pragg, it's very important to stay focused in during events. And I think he prefers doing that. Oh, and Pragg hasn't gone for that. He's played bishop to c4. Well, it's not a bad move at all. It's a very natural and decent move. But h4 looked like one move that had to be played. He can do it on the next move as well. But the upside is that h4, h5, g3. Let's say if you go knight c6, king g2, you are able to improve your king's position. While with the bishop on c4, which has happened in the game, let's say I go knight c6, h4, h5, g3, now bishop g4, and this knight is hanging. So the bishop on e2, if it was there, then the knight would not be hanging and I could safely pick up this pawn on b7. So these are these little differences in the position which can be very helpful. Sparsh says bishop c4 idea is king e2. Sparsh, I'm very doubtful if I want to put my king here. But yeah, I get your point. I get your point. If he goes knight c6, which is what he did in the game, king e2, I'm not a big fan of this move, to be honest. Because the king here, although right now looks safe, matlab, dekho, here, here, here. It's like saying that I will live in a house which will not have a door, okay, but I will put bodyguards there, okay, and you are like, yeah, that's a good idea, bodyguards will keep you safe. But let's say, what if the bodyguard goes to sleep? What do you do then? And so that is why it would have been preferable to keep the king here, but Pragg has gone to e2. Joy Datta, thank you for your super chat. It was so good to see so many mainstream media houses, channels covering Pragg's victory in details. It was trending, wind of change, absolutely. And I was very happy yesterday that, you know, we were there till the end. There were not many people watching it live, but we all were part of history, you know. We were watching it. Amruta was here, move by move, and it was great fun. It was great fun because, guys, I then, you know, in the night I couldn't sleep. Like at 2:30 it got over and I was like, I made this small video edit, then I did game analysis. It was like 4 o'clock, then I uploaded, I scheduled it for 7 a.m, 8 a.m, and 2 videos. By the way, he's got his rook here, and I think Pragg didn't go for the most incisive line with h4, h5, but he has center control. He goes h3. And then I started doing my research as to when was the last time someone beat Carlsen apart from Vishy Anand, and it was Hari Krishna who beat him in 2006, and I think one more time perhaps. No, then he beat him in Blitz, but only in 2006 he had beaten him in classical chess, and no other Indian has beaten Carlsen. I went through Surya, Shashi Kiran, Sethuraman, Adiban, Vidit, SL Narayanan, everyone's name I was searching in mega database. No one, absolutely no one had beaten Magnus, and that just makes this achievement even bigger, you know, that absolutely no Indian player apart from Anand and Hari Krishna were able to beat Magnus, and now Pragg is able to do that. So h3, queen c7 was played, and yes, Nihal did beat him in Blitz, but that was not a tournament. it was, first of all, there are many games which happen online, like between them. So he's beaten many times in practice. Also, there was a simul that he beat him. Not simul, but it was more like one-on-one. But Magnus playing against all the participants of Challengers Chess Tour. So I know that. I mean, I've covered it on ChessBase India, but never in a tournament game. So knight a5, attacking the bishop. And you would love to play bishop d5, but then suddenly e6 and you have to think about your bishop. So I like Nodirbek's position here. It's pretty good here. I'm also rooting for Alexandra Kosteniuk today to score her first win. I mean, if that happens, that would be nice. She's lost 8 out of 8 games. Krishnadas Das says, who will be the finalist from your point and winner? Krishnadas, first of all, top 8 players qualify here to the knockouts. So if you look here right now, sorry. Yeah, you will see that top 8 right now are Nepo, Ding, Eric Hansen, Esipenko, Carlsen, Vincent Keymer, Levon Aronian, Anish Giri. So for Praggnanandhaa to make it to the top 8, he has to start winning a few games. Yeah, it would be important for him. But it seems like Nepo, Ding, Magnus, Aronian, Anish, these are the favorites there. For Mamedyarov, who's on penultimate position, that's like, you know, I mean 15th position, he's too far behind right now. But still 7 more rounds to go, so there's a lot of chess to be played. Coming back, knight a5, and how does Pragg react here? Look at Pragg's time. He has 7 minutes 21 seconds. He plays his bishop to b5. a6 has been played. What's the idea of bishop b6? Bishop b5. It is to provoke a6. You guys, if you have seen my video where I go on this hill and I'm talking about these little moves and how they can be dangerous. So what happens is, let's say if he would have gone bishop d3 directly in such a position, then at some point b6 would have come. Not here exactly, but b6 takes. And then the rook would get activated like this. You can go bishop e6, put pressure here. But once you play bishop b5, provoke a6 and come back, then now b6 will be very difficult to play. And also now, guys, you will see what Pragg's idea is. White to play. What do you think Praggnanandhaa will play? Come on. Yes, Sachin Ranade, you are right. Making b6 weak. Oh, and guys, today we have some aims to complete. 855k. We have to reach 3 more subscribers. Please subscribe. We have some goals. First 3 subscribers. And we want to reach 1000 likes as soon as possible. Right now, we are on 185 likes. So guys, if you are enjoying this commentary, 461 likes, sorry. Please do like this stream. Exactly. Rook b6 is the move. Prathamesh S, Rishi Agarwal, Pawn Balaji, Shaibi Binoj, Abhigyan Sinha, Mistadam, Rishi Venkatraman, Anand Tendulkar, Pinky Upadhyay. You go rook to b6. But Pragg did not play rook b6. He went king f1. But he played king f1 and now he played rook fd8 and Pragg goes king g1. He's like, let me just put my king. Why is Kosteniuk not able to score a win? Ravi says, well, because other players are very strong here. Oh, we have crossed 855k. Thank you so much, guys. 855k, 47. That's amazing. Let's keep a new aim. 855, 100. Let's keep that aim. Step by step. Just like Praggnanandhaa. First, he's trying to get his king to safety here. The main thing about black's position is that his pieces look slightly misplaced, especially that knight. It is not coming in the game. But on the other hand, that is his only problem. Rest of the things are okay. His structure is good. b7 could be slightly weak, but that's all about it. Meanwhile, let's quickly check what Anish is up to. Anish has pushed his pawn to b4, and I think after ab4 he's ready to take with the queen. He's putting pressure on the queen side here with his queen and knight, so pretty fine position. And Magnus Carlsen, his opponent, well, he's reached a position. You know what Magnus does really well is that he understands that b5, like for me, if I make a move like b5, I would be worried that the knight sits here and puts pressure on these two squares. But Magnus can understand these dangers very well, and he was able to sort of, yeah, bishop a3 was perhaps not the best move here for white. Knight e5 would have been better looking at the c6 square, but after bishop a3, knight d3, rook c8, bishop e7, king e7, we reach a position where black has sort of equalized here, and maybe Magnus will start taking over slowly, because you see this is his first move that kind of hits the structure. And after e takes f5, he will take on d3. Let's say you take with the rook. I will now take ef5, and my bishop is slightly better now. Also, there's g5, g4 in the air. The rook is coming into c2. Magnus Carlsen really squeezes from dead positions. You know, the way he plays chess is really amazing to see. And that's why when you see more of Magnus Carlsen, you start to appreciate that beating him is so difficult, just in any format, because when he starts to get a bad position, he defends so amazingly well. That he did with Liem Quang, with Pragg as well, but Pragg managed to beat him. Going back to Praggnanandhaa's position, Nodirbek says h6. Pragg, I don't know what exactly I'm going to do here. For now, I'm waiting. I'm just putting my pawn on h6. Maybe knight g5 in future you cannot play. Maybe bishop g5 you cannot play. So now Pragg has to decide what is his take on the position, because he would love to go rook b6 over here, but rook b6 then leaves this rook sort of not undefended but not very well defended, and knight c4, the knight comes into the game, because bishop c4, I take on d1, queen d1 and bishop c4, and it seems to me that black is doing pretty okay here. Okay, there is queen c1 attacking here and here, but maybe we can improve with knight c4, bishop c4, bishop c4, because if you take rook d8, now taking on c4 is impossible because of rook d1. Yes, Arav Arora, you are right that Nodirbek can go back with knight c6 in such a position, like he can go back here, say for example here, but this knight is then blocking the activity of the queen, and knight g5 was possible, so h6 makes sense first, stopping knight g5. And now Pragg, after this, played bishop e2, rook d1, rook takes d1 has happened. So white has nicely placed pieces. Queen on a4 is also well placed. Rook d8, but black is ready to go into the endgame, and Pragg is like, no endgame, Nodirbek. I'm keeping my rook on the board because this is a weakness here and I want to attack it. Maybe I can go bishop d2 to attack the knight, but the knight goes back to c6. It's going to be an interesting battle now, with white having small weak pawn here. Is it really weak, or it makes this pawn weak is the question. This pawn is quite well defended, but if black is able to get knight d4, that could mean something. He plays bishop to c4. In this position, white's isolated pawn is strong or weakness. Insanely insane asks, you have hit the nail on the head. That is the big question here. Is this a weakness or it makes this pawn weak? I think it's both. And the one who plays better is going to get the win here. But for now, the position is dynamically balanced. Dynamically balanced in this position. Also, look at this, guys. Magnus Carlsen's bishop is so powerful. It is right in the center of the board. And he has also... See, ye Magnus Carlsen ki brilliance hai. After rook d2, f4. King here takes, bishop d5. And even these pawns here are fixed on the light square where the bishop can put pressure on it. So someday if the bishop can move to c4 to f1, it will start putting pressure on those points. Very interesting. Very interesting. And you know, you really don't want to play a3. a3 is a horrible move because then the knight is like, bye. Where am I going? There is no way out for me. I'm completely trapped. And this is the rule which you should remember. If a bishop is 2 squares away from the knight, I'm going to use different colors here, then it dominates it if the knight is on the corner of the board. So by all means, the knight has to come back to b3. And then this pawn endgame is drawn. Although doubled pawns, but there is no entry point. You see, here there are no entry points. So Magnus will not take. He's gone knight b3. Magnus will not take here. He will now, what Magnus will do, I think, but he has to worry a bit about knight c5. I was thinking if Magnus can somehow start playing g5, g4. By the way, guys, how do you like these red arrows? Yes or no? Let me know. If yes, you like it, say yes. If you don't like it, say no. I like red actually, not bad. Okay, knight e5 has been played in the game of Eric Hansen versus Anish Giri. Anish Giri somehow has managed to get a completely winning position. I don't know how. The last time we left, we were looking at yes, no. There are enough yes. So let's try it for some time. Then I'll get back to the other color. Knight a4 was played. This was not a good move. He should have taken on b4. He plays knight a4. Anish goes queen b5. Takes. He comes in. And now Anish Giri finds here a classy move. Can you find it, guys? Black to play. b3, Dharmista Parmar, very good. b3 was played in the game, and if you move now the bishop, then I will take on c1, and then bishop e4. So that is bishop e4 would be hanging. b3, Dhanushka Yappa, you are right. Nirnay Garg, Aditya Jain. Ravi says, is 2 squares away horizontally, what? Any direction. When the knight is on the edge, anywhere, 2 squares away, if a bishop is there, it dominates it. So knight c8, b takes c2, attacking the rook. He played knight e7, king here, rook c2, king e7. And now Anish Giri has a great position, takes on e5. And now bishop a6, defending this. He should get a good position. And meanwhile, look at Magnus Carlsen here. He is... Guys, how does Magnus Carlsen play so well? I don't know. King d6, knight c5, bishop a2, knight a6. By the way, bad move by Liem Quang was knight c5. He should have gone king c3 or knight c1, bringing his knight back. But he played here, take on a2, take on a6, bishop c4. Now, as we said, he has fixed these pawns. So knight came back, bishop f1, g3 was played. He took king d5, and you will see that how bishops are such beautiful creatures on an open board. It will go here, first took this pawn, then it went here, it started attacking the king side pawn, while the knight is like a lame creature in open board. Now king c4 is a massive threat, so he goes king c3, stopping the king from coming. But now Magnus plays bishop e2. I'm not sure about this move, bishop e2. Perhaps a better move could have been h5, g5 with the idea of h4, but Magnus clearly has a plan. He goes here, and his plan is that if you play f4, he wants to now go bishop g4. And by the way, f4 was a bad move. Here was the chance to go knight d4. It's a difficult move to play, and after bishop takes f3, knight d4, and now this is attacked. You can't defend it from e2, and Liem Quang had to be alert, but Liem Quang made the most natural move, and Magnus now played h5, king e2, bishop g4. And the problem in this position, why black is completely winning, guys, is because his bishop is just so much superior to the knight. It dominates the knight like anything, and now he's gone g6 here, and if the knight moves away, there is king coming in here. If the king moves away, then the king comes here. So your question could be, what if the king goes to b3? Well, if the king goes to b3, I go king d4. In any case, I'm entering the position. Let's go knight d6. Let's go knight b5. Let's go. फिर तुम्हारे पास b pawn है, I have the h pawn, and knights are very bad when you have to try. And so, like, let's say, just look at this variation. Check, king here, takes. Black is totally winning. The bishop will just come here and stop the pawn. Magnus Carlsen really playing an amazing endgame. Meanwhile, very quickly checking what Praggnanandhaa is up to. Then we'll come back to this game. So after rook d8, rook b1, knight c6, bishop c4, we saw till here. Rook d7, g3 was played, queen a5, king g2, g5, g4, e6, a4, queen c3, he took, h4, f6, king f1, bringing the king in the center, a5, and now rook c1, king f7, and this is the position on the board. It's roundabout even here. Okay, going back to Magnus Carlsen's game, what we saw has happened. After knight takes b5, he took on g3, he goes here, and he's saying to himself, if I can take here, let's say h4, knight f5, takes b5, h3, b6, h2, b7, h1, दोनों ने बनाई queen. But in the end, after this, let's say a move like queen f3, queen f4, black is winning that position because he has an extra pawn. But there's a catch here. Instead of playing h4 here, b5 will come in, and the knight is very smartly controlling the e4 square, so the pawn is now going ahead. So what you should do as black is you should play king f4, and after b5 in such a position, you try to move your bishop away to get here, or you can play your bishop to g4 to get to f3 and then start pushing the pawn. These are little things that Carlsen has to take care of, and which he is calculating right now. If you look at Magnus there, he's just focusing. Liem knows that he's going to be in trouble here. Meanwhile, Anish Giri looking tremendously focused. Also, Praggnanandhaa playing with his lips there. We have to see what is he doing in his game. Did he manage to somehow create something? Oh, he's pushed his pawn to e5 here. He sacrificed a pawn, but is this a good idea? Is he going to take on g5 now? That was his plan. Pragg wants to take on g5. But take on g5, rook d4. Oh, he goes c6. Maybe this game is going to liquidate into a draw now. Rook takes c6, king f6. Guys, sorry for that small lag. I'm not in my home here. I'm in Pune. Today is the last day over here. Tomorrow onwards, I'll be back home. I hope that this will not happen. Sorry for the small lag. Rook c4 has been played, attacking this pawn on e4. King e5. Then this is hanging. So not so easy to defend this. He goes rook d3. Oh, if you want to take here, he is going to go rook a3 now. Yeah, sure. Meanwhile, let's see what Magnus did here. Magnus's move, very cool move. Bishop d6. And guys, I just want to emphasize how the knight really hates the rook pawn. So if you play b5, then now I can take, okay, h4. So the pawn is about to queen. You have to go to d4. I will now play, if I play h3, knight e2 check, and I will go king g2, and you will see that the knight is unable to stop the pawn. That is why they say the knight is a horrible piece when it comes to a rook pawn. The rook pawn is knight's biggest enemy. Keep this in mind always. That's the reason why bishop d7 was played. And there you see Praggnanandhaa. Now look at this, b5. First he went f5, gf, b5, bishop takes, knight f5, king f4, and again the rook pawn is, wow, this is so cool. This is so cool. Oh, Duda plundered. Duda plundered in his game against whom? By the way, Ding Liren has drawn. Duda is playing against Shakhriyar Mamedyarov. No. Levon and Duda. Oh, what happened? Did he plunder something? Like, okay, Levon was better, but then Duda. What? Take. Rook f4. Oh, he blundered this. Levon Aronian missed rook e8. But even queen c1 was there. What was Levon thinking? Take. Queen c1, blunder. Bye. Queen e2. And white is winning. No checks. He's checking here. Queen here. b3. He missed this move. Oh my god. This game is lot of... So now you can't control both d1 and f1 with the queen. Like you can go queen b1, but then I'll take rook e8 and I'm just piece up. What a blunder. And meanwhile, Anish Giri has won his game against Hansen, Eric Hansen. That's a big victory coming Anish Giri's way. And meanwhile, Magnus Carlsen is completely dominating this game against Liem Quang. This will go down in the books as a perfect example of a bishop dominating a knight and also a rook pawn. And Praggnanandhaa has 2 pawns here for... But this is a draw, guys. This is a draw. He just comes back. Very good move. Because if you play h2, I'll go to g2. It's very important when you play a2 here, let's say, I shouldn't waste my time and play rook a8. Why is this a blunder? Why? How does black win? Can you tell me? Black to play and win. What is the way? Come on, I need a lot of you to answer this. Oh man, look at this. So many of you right over there. Excellent job. This is the correct move. Here, rook h1. Fantastic job done by Kajal, Deepak, Neelab, Chess Info, Crazy Content, Mr. Adam, Ajay Parwani, VVC, Karthik, Anshul Nanwani. All new names today. Very good to see some rook h1. And now I'm threatening to queen. If you take here, then check and you lose the rook. So that is why Praggnanandhaa quickly rushed back to his square here on g2, where he will be very safe. This has happened in the game. King g2, king f6, rook a6, and I think they will agree to a draw. Meanwhile, Magnus Carlsen still fighting on. Here the knight is still hoping that somehow it manages to stop the pawn. You might think it's so less material, right? You might think that this will end in a draw. but not really, guys, not really. This is not going to end in a draw. This is going to be completely lost position. And we will learn from Magnus how to win and how Zugzwang will soon come into the picture. You see, the knight is being pushed around. Now you shouldn't push the pawn because knight f5 check and you will lose the pawn. But bishop d7 dominating the knight very calmly, very calmly. King d2. Now he's played king to d2, h4. Maybe king e1. He is hoping that whenever he goes h2, he will be able to give a check. But now king g2. Knight e3. Or kya kare? Because if you go king here, check and you lose the knight. So you have to go up and I'll go king g1. Now remember, when the king is one square diagonally opposite to the knight, there are no checks in the position. So now the threat is h2. And there is no way to stop it apart from knight f1. What else? Because there is no knight g4, bishop will take it. So knight f1 is the only move, and then Magnus will go bishop b5. He goes knight d1. His idea is to play knight f2. So h2, knight f2, and once again, you might think this is a draw now. But look at this very important move now. What will you play? Dominate, Zugzwang. Put your opponent in a zugzwang now, guys. How do you do that? With Magnus, just calculating that final thing. The knight, if in this position, white can pass always in chess. He will say, oh, I don't want to make a move, pass. It's a draw. But he has to make a move. And so bishop b5 now stopped this knight, this king from coming to e2. So knight h3, king g2, knight f2 and bishop a6, waiting move all over, guys. All over. Bishop f1 is controlled, e2 is controlled, everything is controlled. Control. And he is winning. I mean, there were many ways to win, but this was, I think, a very clean win. And Liem Quang has resigned. Magnus Carlsen wins a beautiful endgame. This is why, guys, Magnus Carlsen is so amazing. And meanwhile, Anish Giri using his time to catch up on other games. This is something that Anish does very often. He looks at other games, tries to see if there's something that he can learn from these games or something that can help him to prepare himself for the next game. Now Alexandra Kosteniuk looking for her first point today. She is still fighting it out against Vladislav Artemiev. Artemiev is one of Russia's finest grandmasters. Kosteniuk is playing with the white pieces. She looks under pressure for sure. By the way, just a very quick update. Praggnanandhaa drew his game against Nodirbek. That's the reason why I did not go back to that game. This is how it happened. Both players exchanged everything and they agreed to a draw. So right now Kosteniuk has 8 losses, guys, and this is where she has to fight back. She has 9 seconds on the clock. She has to decide on a move. Black pieces look beautiful right now. It's going to be very difficult. She plays her queen to e3 and instantly Artemiev plays knight f6. You can sense that Artemiev just wants to play quickly and force her opponent to make mistakes. Now the rook goes to b5, knight d7, defending b6, putting pressure on e4. Knight d5 was played. Now can we take this? Oh, by the way, knight e4 is a check. Oof. Artemiev can simply take this, or he can take on d5. If you can't take ed because queen is hanging. He takes with the rook, but now knight f6. Ooh. And now knight e4 next. That means Artemiev is going to win. I'm going to put up the standings also, guys. Just a second, and we will see what the standings are. But top 8 are going to qualify for the next knockout phase, which starts day after tomorrow. Takes on e4, bishop e4, rook e4. and Artemiev is just completely winning. E2 coming in, rook e2 check is coming in. This is over. Yeah, it's mate, guys. Check. Look at this beautiful mate. Check. ठीक है, king यहाँ पे. Now, very important move, guys. Rook f2. And you can see Kosteniuk there. She knows that she has lost. She resigns the game. Artemiev wins because it's a beautiful mate. King g2, check here, king here, and mate. So that's how Artemiev has won his game against Alexandra Kosteniuk. And this is what the standings look like right now in this tournament. We have Nepomniachtchi still at the top with 20 points because Jan right now drew with Vincent Keymer. Esipenko has moved to 17 points. Magnus winning his game is now up to 16. Liren is also on 16. Anish Giri moving up to 5th position with 15 points. Aronian on 15. Guys, a win is 3 points, draw is 1 point, loss is 0. So that's how the scoring system is. 14 points for Vincent, who's on 8th position. Eric Hansen on 7th position. Artemiev on 13. Liem Quang on 11. Abdusattorov also on 11 points. Praggnanandhaa on 9. What is the next round's pairing? That has to be seen right now. Who is playing against whom? And these are the pairings right now. Artemiev takes on Aronian. Mamedyarov versus Duda. We have Anish versus Liren. That's a big game. Carlsen versus Eric Hansen. Nodirbek, Liem Quang. Esipenko would like to take revenge for his last round loss to Praggnanandhaa. And he will be playing against the little youngster from India. Nepomniachtchi takes on Hans Niemann. And Alexandra Kosteniuk would love to get on the scorecard. She takes on Vincent Keymer. That's how the standings are. The next round will begin very shortly. Until then, guys, let's just talk to the chat and see what's happening. Rohit Pawar asks Sagarbai, when are Pune vlogs coming? Samay is going to put it up. So whenever Samay is done, I have 1 or 2 clips, but I'll put it only after Samay puts out his stuff. So that's how it is. And also, let's see, Praggnanandhaa, Esipenko, let's get them on the screen. Next game will begin soon. Next round starts at actually 11:30. So we have a break of 8 minutes. But let's have a look at a couple of interesting games that happened. One was very important one that we were seeing, this Levon Aronian versus... I mean, how did so many blunders happen? Let's have a look at that. COB gang war to start from 21st of March. Himansh Singla. Yes, absolutely. That's big news there. I have an exam tomorrow, says Vishweshwar Raj Soni. Wish me luck. All the best, Vishweshwar. Do well. Just play like Magnus, yeah, in the end game in your exams under time pressure. Montu Mia says, भाई तुम्हारे में इतना एनर्जी कहाँ से आता है? सोने से आता है. You know, when you sleep well, you get energy. How many times each player would fight each other? Once only, Prajwal. There are 16 players, so 15 rounds. Book suggestions, please, says Joy Datta. Joy, I'm reading right now this book. I'm enjoying it tremendously. This one, Shoe Dog, Phil Knight. Yesterday, there were some very nice suggestions by people. There was one book that was suggested by someone. I forgot. Getting old. But yeah, I mean, this is by the maker of Nike, Phil Knight. who was the founder of Nike, and I'm reading that for now. Where are you streaming from? I'm streaming from Amrita's home in Pune. When did Samay announce COB wars? Today was the announcement. Asim Khan says, read I Too Had a Dream by Dr. Verghese Kurian, Amul founder. It's an amazing book. Thank you, Asim Khan. That's a very good suggestion. I will definitely check it out. And have we reached our aim for today? 855, 100 is done. Let's plan 855, 200, guys, on our subscribers. We want to reach 856k soon, but step by step. 855, 200, 55 more subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Okay, guys, the internet was gone for a bit, but now I'm back. Sorry for that small disconnection. Okay. Yeah, we were going to look at this game between Levon and Jan-Krzysztof Duda. Okay, interesting. Actually, this is b5 is common. A4 is played now. Here. 6, bishop c4, castles. Bishop p7, bishop c5, knight e6, v6 takes, king h8, bishop d5, queen e7, king h1. So that was not a good move. The best move here is rook a d1, but he goes here. So now black is going to be a piece up. But white says, I have a few pawns, I will keep fighting. c7, queen e7, rook e6, queen here, rook h6, king g8. And it was looking quite scary, but black stabilized. Fork there. There was a fork here. He forked here. Takes. And now, I mean, black can play rook d2. He's rook up and will win the game. But all of a sudden, Levon Aronian went crazy and took on e6. He was like, what? Queen blunder. And then he played rook e6. And then came rook takes f. And of course, the idea was that if you take, it's a mate. But what was he going to do if I played queen e2? His idea was rook f2. So then you can't protect this and this both. That was the plan. So okay, he went rook e8 check. And his point was, if you take now, I will take on f4. So Levon played king h7. But now comes a very important move, guys, which was missed. And if you can find this move, white to play and win. What is the move? White to play. Let's see how many of you can find it. Because Levon thought this is winning, but he missed the move. Just a second, yeah, I'll be back. No, queen c1 was played in the game, Akshay, which is a blunder. And what is the move that all of you have come up with? Let me see. Amazing. Queen e2. Fantastic suggestions by Shaibi, Avneet, Aditya, Viraj, Sumit Gaming, Vaibhav, Sai Arvind, Argon, and Kunal Gupta. The move is queen e2, and after queen to e2, if you take here, I give a check, and I win this with check. I don't give you time to checkmate me. You, Asim, if you play rook h8, I'll just take king h8. I don't see the point because then this is hanging. So queen c1, and I think Duda thought if now takes, he will take on f4. But what is the move he missed here, guys? Last move that you have to find as black, and black wins the game. What did he miss? What is wrong with queen c1, Akshay Mohan? Akshay Mohan, you tell me. What is wrong? Find the winning move. Gaming Sphere, Aditya Jain, Anda Burger, Isomaniac, Abhigyan, Shaibi Binoj, Suryank Singh, Dipanjan De, Keymer Krishil, Darshit Bagla, Mihir Kuwad, Atul Kumar Purushu, Shushanto P. Mundana Krishna, Chess Info. Fantastic job, guys. Bishop e3 is the move. And now if you take, I will checkmate you. So he took on d8, but this is over. If you otherwise move your queen away, let's say somewhere queen e1, I will now take rook e8 and I'm winning. I'm a piece up because 2 rooks equal to 1 queen and I have 1 extra bishop. The games have begun. Next round has started. It is Praggnanandhaa versus Esipenko. Let's get them on our screen. Pragg takes on the Russian youngster, and look at that. By the way, Praggnanandhaa has got a massive upgrade over his camera today. I don't know what he has done. So it was e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. This is known as the Sicilian. Guys, what is it called? Anda Burger says Episenko. Yeah, a lot of people say Episenko. Yeah, let's flip the board. Sure. Yeah, Chess Info, thank you so much. We will reach 1 million, hopefully, very soon. Bishop b5, Rosolimo, Sicilian Rosolimo it's called. And now he played g6, castles, bishop g7, rook e1, e5, bishop takes, pawn takes, a4, and now what to do here, because he is playing against b6, then a5. Maybe Pragg can respond with a5 here. Also, I think Esipenko wants to play his knight to c4. One of his ideas in this position. Okay, you can play knight e7, but generally knight e7 is met with a very strategic, nice move. Can you tell me what does white play here? Let's see how many of you in the chat are positional geniuses. I know many of you are tactical geniuses, but positional genius kitne hai? Oh my god, what a move by Praggnanandhaa. Praggnanandhaa goes for something which I did not think of. He says, Pragg here says, bhai, Esipenko, what is this? A4, you are playing there. I am going out for your king. By g5, what a move. No, let me see why. My question was what happens after knight e7 here, and I want to see what you guys come up with. c3, knight e5. No one has given a positional answer, guys. The move that I was waiting for and I wanted someone to answer. Chalo, koi to answer de do na yaar, koi to. White's ka move. Let's see the first move that comes here. If the right move comes up, come on. Esipenko is shocked. Esipenko is surprised for sure. Let me just see his face. He's like, Pragg, what are you doing with this move g5? Okay, we can just check that move, but firstly a5. Yes, that is the move I was looking for. Well done, Shaibi, Dhruv Malhotra, No Name, Craig Faria, Lahiru, Vishal Bhatia. So if you're going to play normally, then a5 is a very nice clamping move, because now You can't play b6. I'll play ab and pressure here, and just it's a very useful move to clamp the structure over there. So that's why I thought that Pragg will go a5, but instead Pragg went g5, and Pragg is going all out in this position. G5. His opponent went d3. Esipenko said, "Oh, attacking here." Pragg goes g4. "Oh, I have no fear," says Pragg. I'm attacking your king. I'm going to attack your knight. Then I'm going to push my h-pawn. Okay, knight d2. Esipenko, "No problem, buddy. It's just weaknesses you have created here." f5 square is now weak. Pragg goes bishop e6. It's a battle of ideologies. Knight c4. White is playing with one knight here. Black is pushing his pawns. A lot of things happening here. Now Praggnanandhaa just moving in this position. He's liking his position. You can see it. Esipenko looking very, very calm there. What to do? White has to think now, because white player has to do something in the position. Where is his pawn break? Should he go b4? b4, not a good move. Just take it. Very difficult now. Knight c4. It's black's move in the position. I think Praggnanandhaa will play his pawn to h5. Praggnanandhaa wants to go for the king. He will play h4, g3. For now, let's see what Pragg comes up with. Will he play h5? Also, let's quickly have a look at Magnus Carlsen. Who is he playing against? Magnus is playing against Erik Hansen, right? Erik Hansen has been in good form in this tournament. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, Rui Lopez on the board. Knight f6, castles, bishop e7, b5, bishop b3, b6, c3. Playing the main line of the Chigorin variation. This is very risky stuff that Erik is doing here against Magnus. Look at Magnus's time. I want to have Magnus on the screen, guys, because look at his time here. He has 17 minutes on the clock. Magnus is not even thinking. It's just all opening theory, right? So what is there to think? He's just... But Magnus looks a little bit disheveled today, Oh, and now comes a5, bishop e3, a4, and instantly knight d2. No, I mean, what is Erik Hansen doing? Why is he taking so much time? Let's quickly check. How to know why these players play so fast is if we can see what is happening as per theory, because theory is very important to know. And these players are so well booked up, especially Magnus. More than booking up everything, his memory is phenomenal. So if we look at our board here, you will see that this position that is there on the screen right now has already happened in how many games? 4,205 games. 4,205 games. So clearly Erik Hansen should have been blitzing out his moves as well. He should be playing bishop d7 here or knight b4 here. There are many but in all the positions, guys, look at this. Look at the score that white has. Close to 60%. So if 100 games, white is winning 60% of the games, which means that this opening choice is not good. All of this you can understand if you use ChessBase 16, guys. So check it out. It's the first link in the description. You can go and check and get it. But clearly Erik Hansen not well prepared today, and he is facing that. He's thinking a bit too much. Goes knight b4 and bishop b1. Look at Magnus. He has started from 15 minutes. He's moved up to 17 minutes, 20 seconds. Praggnanandhaa using remote control. Maybe for his air condition, yeah? Guys, promotion OP kya hai? I'm using ChessBase day in and out. So I just said it will be useful. You know, one thing which I have to address and I have to say is that ChessBase has become such an integral part of all the top players' lives that they use that they don't even think about promoting it. It's like, you know, no one really thinks about promoting Bisleri or something like that you use daily in your life. And so sometimes people don't really understand that how important it is for the top players to prepare with that software. And so I'm just giving you a glimpse of how all of this, why is Magnus playing so fast? He has 16 minutes 58 seconds, and Eric, maybe the fact that he's not playing so much is forgotten the theory. Okay, let's have a look at Esipenko's game. Also, we want to see with Anish versus Ding Liren. So it was the Reti system on the board. D3, knight c6, e4, takes, queen d1, rook d1. Okay. Bishop g4, c3, knight f6, knight d2, castles. Very simple, straightforward position on the board right now. And Anish is hoping that Ding Liren will take here, and then he will have the bishop pair to fight with small advantage. Okay, bishop c8. Maybe that is... So h3 has been played in the position, and I don't think Ding will take it. Yes, he goes bishop c8. He keeps his bishop in the position. Okay, Anish has maybe a small edge here, but black is very solid. The main piece in black's camp who's unhappy, can you tell me which piece is unhappy as of now in black's position? Anyone? Oh, Aditya Jain says we have finished. Oh, we reached 855, 200. Wow. Thank you so much, guys. Let's try to reach 855, 300. Let's also get our favorites, Anish Giri and Ding Liren, on the screen because they are playing against each other. There you have Anish, very, very focused, and Ding Liren. Whenever I look at Ding Liren, I'm like, calmness. Be like water. You know, so calm. A man who enters the river twice. No man can ever enter the same river twice because the man is no longer that same man and the river is no longer that same river. Something like that, yeah? That is the quote that comes to the minds of everyone when you look at Ding Liren, because that was the quote he said in CSL. Which piece is not happy? Bishop on g7. Yes. Also, knight on c6, right? Knight on c6 is unhappy. You tell me, why is this knight on c6 unhappy? No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. Hassan Imam, thank you. Knight c6 is not happy. Yes, pawn on c3, exactly. Arnav Srivastav, Sarthak Pal Chaudhary, Akshay Mohan, very good. The main thing is that when a knight has a pawn which is 2 squares away from it, it is dominating it. And so this black knight has to do something about it. But for now, Anish Giri is thinking about what he needs to do. He has 11 minutes on the clock. Ding Liren has 9 minutes on the clock. Let's go to Praggnanandhaa's game. He had taken a lot of risks in his game against Esipenko. After knight c4, he went knight e7, bishop e3, b6, a5, rook b8. Because b5 looks natural, but after b5 I move my knight, suddenly c5 is weak. and I don't know how to protect it. So that's why Pragg goes rook b8, ab, knight bd2, queen c7. Now there's no point, I think, in castling here, so he first goes queen c7, rook f1, maybe he's looking at f3, and yeah, the position looks better for white clearly, because Pragg's pawn here is just gone up ahead and given a nice hook for white to open up the position. But it's not as trivial for human beings, this position, as it must be for computers. Computers can handle this very well, and white would win almost all games if computer was playing with white. But with human beings, there's always this small little worry that, oh, he's bringing his knight here, he already, has pushed his pawns, maybe he'll push his pawns further. You never know. f3, very good move. And Esipenko is not a guy you mess with, because he is able to understand these structures very well. Look how he's put his knights here. h5, very decent move by Praggnanandhaa. अभिषेक राजन says, सागर भाई डेटाबेस का लिंक अपडेट कर लो. क्यों नहीं चल रहा है? फर्स्ट लिंक इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन. I thought it was working. No? What? Oh. Thank you for informing. I had put the link of the old 2021. Thank you so much for informing this, and I'm going to update it now. I thought it was... Oh, and Praggnanandhaa castles meanwhile, while I change the link. Pragg is like playing, after h5 queen e1, I think maybe he should have taken, perhaps here, taken in the position. But he played queen e1, castles. Shardul Silswal says, nice trophy collection in the background. Are those Amrutas? No, these are trophies of Amruta's brother, Prathamesh, who is also a very strong chess player. He's an international master with 1 GM norm, and also he's former national B champion of India. So all these are his trophies. Yeah, the house is filled with a lot of sportsmen. Amruta's father is a boxer, and Prathamesh is black belt in karate, and Amruta is brown belt in karate. All chess, play decent chess. So like, careful, yeah. All very strong karate and boxing experts. Okay, so castles here, and what Akshay Nathu says, uncle gifted me a Parker. Esipenko पहली बार देखा. Akshay Nathu. Oof. Uncle gifted me a Parker. Esipenko पहली बार देखा. Nice. Okay. FG, HG, bishop G5. And you can see that slowly the evaluation is turning in Praggnanandhaa's favor, because, it was like clearly better for white, but now no longer. Maybe F6 is what he will play. He'll push the bishop away, and when the bishop goes back to E3, maybe he can start with rook A8, trying to wrest control of the A file here. Okay, so Praggnanandhaa slowly coming back in the game. Meanwhile, what is up with Magnus Carlsen? He had so much more time against Erik Hansen. Has the time been bridged? Yes, it has been. Wow, that is good news for Erik Hansen fans here. Bishop d3, rook b8, rook c1, ed knight d4, knight e5, bishop c, rook e8. And this is the position. It's a nice position. Could it be just as a thought that Erik knew what was happening and he took time just to throw Magnus off balance and maybe land him into some kind of a fake overconfidence that Erik does not know the opening, and then he sort of makes all the good moves and now has equalized. Could be. There are many ways to trick your opponents in chess, guys. It's a game of strategy, and there are not just things on the board, there are things off the board. Okay, online chess you can't see expressions much, but over the board you can. Sometimes you make some face and you can just sense your opponent is not very comfortable. Sometimes you take time. The clock is also a big factor. When you take a lot of time, your opponent thinks, he doesn't know the opening and gets overconfident. Here could be. Meanwhile, Anish Giri has snatched a pawn on e5. It seems like Anish Giri has a good position because after bishop c8, look at this move by Anish. b4 gaining space, b5, knight b2, and here a4. So take, everything cleaned up on the queen side, rook d6, and now he takes knight to e5. And right now Anish Giri is a pawn up in the position against Ding Liren. You can see Anish how focused he is. He really wants to beat Ding, and Ding is unhappy. Maybe somewhere Ding Liren wanted to play, I don't know what was his idea, because knight e4 doesn't work. I mean, you are unleashing 2 attacks on this knight, but after I take rook e4, I am defending it twice. So clearly it doesn't work, knight e4. But then what do you play? You can play your knight to h5, trying to put pressure here. But then, okay, maybe they thought that f4, he can play knight takes g3 and black is better. But there is one more move in this position that gives white a good position. Can you find it? White to move. Yes, your knight on e5 is hanging. Yes, your knight cannot move because the bishop on b2 would hang. But there's a good move. Can you find? Come on, guys. Find the best move for white. No, king h2 is bad. Rishi Agarwal, e5 knight is hanging. Yes, Ankit Gulati, very well done. So the right move here is rook a5. Brilliant chat, brilliant job. Ankit Gulati, Aman Singh, Divyansh, Deepam, Shaibi, Sparsh, Saad, Darshit, Chess Brilliance, Ritankar. And I also want to congratulate people who said rook a8, beat me, right denture, Sarbamoy, Edmundo, Jishan, Jaskaran, Udayraj, Krishna Prasad, Pratham, and Abhinav Anand. Why? Because both these moves are the best in the position. If you play rook a5, you are defending your knight this way. And if you play rook a8, you are putting pressure on the bishop this way. So, but here maybe black is slightly okay. So rook a5 is clearly a good move, but Anish goes rook a8. Oh, Anish plays this. Maybe rook a5 was a stronger move, Anish. But okay, Anish is still better. He's pawn up. Let's go quickly to Praggnanandhaa's game, and I don't. Oof, guys, it's changing. Things are changing. Look at Praggnanandhaa here. f6, bishop went back. We thought, and I said he might have to go here. Rook a8. He played it. Queen g3. Very interesting move. Queen g3. But seems like he's blundered. He's made a mistake, it seems. b5. Boom. And now my question to you is, where does the knight go? It can't go here. It can't go here. It can't go here. It has to go back. तो फिर जब knight यहाँ जाएगा दोस्तों, what is the brilliant move for black in this position? Can you find it? By the way, he has taken here on 8, but I want you to find a great move for black. Come on, can you find it? No. This is the positional pawn sacrifice I was talking about. By the way, guys, we are 855, 227 on subscribers. We want to reach 855, 300. Please do subscribe if you are enjoying this commentary. Also, please like the stream. We are, I think, close to 2000 likes. Let's make it 2000 likes. We have 1600 likes on this stream. Please do like the stream if you are enjoying it and learning something. By the way, the move here that I'm looking for, and let's see how many of you are able to find it. C4. Brilliant job, guys. Brilliant. The right move has been given by Chess Brilliance, Rishi Agarwal, account number 2, Aman Singh, Mithis Dazzling, Devapriya Manna, Venkatraman, Satyamurthy, Prathamesh, Shashank, and Sahil Shah. And the reason why this move is so cool is because you want to play b4. You want to kill this knight. But the knight comes and sits here. So what do? You take away that square. You play c4. You force him to take and then play b4. Knight is trapped. And then you have to go b1. But then your rook is hanging. So that's why White says, I will take first here on a8, rook a8, and now play knight a3, so that if you play c4, dc, b4, I have knight b1 and my rook is not hanging. That is his plan for now. But Praggnanandhaa says, भाई अपने को कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है यार, अपन तो c4, takes b4, pushes the knight away, and then what is he going to play is the question. But Praggnanandhaa is clearly better now in this position. He is pushing here. You can see Pragg very, very relaxed. Abhishek Damle, thank you for becoming backer of Indian chess. The first member for today. Duncan Pond says, Sagar is on soft voice commentary. Well, the reason why I'm not shouting, guys, because everyone's sleeping right now here. And today is the last day I'm here. From tomorrow I can shout much better. You told why c4 is good, but please tell why b4 is bad. Sanket Joshi, I told you, right? Why is b4 bad? For example, this is exactly the reason. When you go b4, then the knight comes and sits on c4. So that is the reason why you take away the c4 square and then you play b4. So I hope you understood this subtlety. Okay, let's see Ding Zizhen against Anish Giri. What has happened? So after knight h5 was played, he went rook a8, bishop d7. Bad move by Ding. Absolutely bad move. Don't know what was he thinking here. He thought that Anish will take, he'll take back. But Anish simply played rook ea1, and Ding realized that, oh my god, what have I just done? I cannot even play this, because after knight c6 I'm just losing, because rook a8 there is a check. So he has to go bishop c8, and now Anish can just go rook b8 and rook a8. Anish Giri is going real top guns in this tournament. He's doing really well. Meanwhile, Magnus Carlsen against Erik Hansen. Erik fighting really hard against Magnus. Playing good chess. Bishop f8, bishop b1, b4, f4, knight g6, bishop d3, ba, queen b2. And yeah, the position is super complicated. e4 pawn is under some pressure. Also, f4 pawn is under pressure. So let's say if I play king h1 in such a position. Oh, by the way, big blunder by Magnus. Let's just look at this and look at Erik Hansen. He knows that this is a blunder by Magnus. Will he see it? Guys, can you find it? What did Magnus Carlsen blunder here? And I think Erik Hansen knows it. Clearly, he can take the pawn on a3, but there is something stronger. Magnus had to move his knight from d4. He had to play knight c2. Rook b1. Did Anish Giri already win or what? I think so. Yeah, Anish has won his game. Oh, we'll go to that game. But here, the move that you all have found or not? Yes, knight f4. You all have found the move that Magnus Carlsen has missed. Knight f4. Let's see. Magnus may see. Look at Magnus. He sees it now. Oh my god. He's like, oof. Guys, I've just blundered. The world champion has seen it. And will Eric Hansen find knight takes f4? Because you go knight f4, bishop f4, there is queen d4 check. And if you take rook b2, I have knight e2 check. And then rook b2. That is lost. So let's see if Eric Hansen finds it. Four minutes left for him. Do you think, guys, he'll find it? It's a free pawn. Knight f4, queen f2 in such a position, then that just loses to knight d3, attacking this. So that is also not a good idea. Oh, by the way, he goes knight f4, queen f1. But now queen c3, he finds it. Eric Hansen in tremendous form. He's going to beat the world champion. He's going to beat the world champion, it seems to me. Bishop b5 by Magnus. Magnus going all out. But guys, this is becoming into a very interesting position, because if Magnus... See, one move is knight g6. Just save it. But look at this move that Eric Hansen has here. He can go knight 4 d5. Very difficult move. Very difficult. Because if you take, you go rook e3. Attacking here. How easy or difficult is this move? Knight d5. I think it's very tough. So you're putting pressure here. If you, by the way, move the bishop here, then queen d2 is hanging. So actually the bishop has no squares. I don't think he can find it. Anish is enjoying himself. I just want to quickly check what Anish did. After rook a7, he played this. And Ding Liren resigned. Why Ding? What is there to resign? Play this position. I mean, guys, come on. This is not a position you resign. It's just pawn up. Okay. I mean, white is winning. He has the bishop pair. He has extra pawn. But play on. Ding Liren was completely, I think, not happy with his position, and he just resigned. Meanwhile, Eric Hansen did not find knight 4 d5. Can't blame him for that. It was, sorry, knight 4 d5. It was very difficult move to find. He goes knight g6, the most human way. And let's have a quick look at what Pragg is doing. Praggnanandhaa, after playing b4, knight a b1, goes in with his rook. Rook a2, attacking the b2 pawn. Knight b3, chops it off on b2. Knight d2. And now, can Praggnanandhaa pick up another pawn on c2? He will then be a pawn up. Of course he can. What is the move here for black? If Esipenko plays this, he didn't play it. But black to move. What is the move here? He played knight c5. By the way, Eric Hansen moves away from his camera. Is the game over? Oh, Eric Hansen won. Eric Hansen won against Magnus Carlsen. Too much action going on, guys. Can't keep up with everything. But he's won it. Queen c3, bishop b5. He plays knight g6, bishop a4. Mouse slip. Did you see? What happened? Did he mouse slip or what? What? What just happened? Bishop a4. Why did he give a free piece? No. Does anyone know? No, I don't understand what just happened. He could have taken, and okay, black is better. Black is a pawn up, better, but yeah, mouse slip, no? I mean, he must have wanted to take here. He took here and resigned because bishop a4 is a free piece. It's nothing. Unbelievable. Okay, let's go to Pragg's position, and Magnus, of course, very unhappy. He's not even switched off his camera here because, you know. But let's have our two young talents on the screen, because all other games that we were following have, for the time being, ended. Look at Esipenko here. Magnus. By the way, the move that I was looking for, did anyone find? No, it was not bishop c4. It was knight f4 there. Knight f4. Yeah, the right move was knight f4. Seema Sharma and Priyansh Soni. The main thing was that I was looking here was that after if once d4 here, after rook c2, then knight f4, because if you take on c2 I have knight e2, and if you take on f4 I have ef4 attacking your queen in between move. It's a very complicated position, but it somehow works out here. So he went knight c5, Pragg went bishop c8, good move, queen e1, queen d6, g3, bishop f8. Viva Swan says, Sagar bhai just joined the stream. Can you do a roundup once? Great to see Pragg beating Carlsen. What is that? Sometimes Pragg is on fire. Sometimes Arjun is unstoppable. Many times it is Nihal. Well, all these young guys are just amazing. And clearly we cannot say who's going to be the best few years from now, because all of them are doing so well. By the way, the threat is rook d2. If you take with the queen, I take your queen. You take with the bishop, I take on c5. So that is a massive threat here. So I think knight d b3 seems like the right move, but only 2 minutes left for Andrey Esipenko and Vivaswan. I will do the roundup in some time from now. But for now, bishop f8. Just enjoy this game, guys. Enjoy, soak in the pressure. Look at the expressions. Look at Praggnanandhaa trying to figure out what needs to be done. He has 1 minute 49 seconds. He has right now an extra pawn, and that too a passer here. And look at Esipenko. He knows that he is in trouble. He puts his hand on the mouse. He wants to play his next move, and he plays knight cb3. He goes back with his knight, and now Praggnanandhaa thinking what is his next move. Where does Pragg go? Well, for me a natural move is to move in with the queen. Is that a good move? Maybe not, because then you lose this pawn on f6. So you have to think what to do. You want to go inside, but this is hanging, so why not just defend it with king g7 or king f7? That could be a very logical move. But with just 1 minute 14 seconds left for Pragg, this position is very complicated. Also, whenever your king is weak, that becomes a problem. See what Praggnanandhaa is going to come up with is the question now. Pragg goes king g7. Man, Praggnanandhaa keeping his cool, keeping his advantage. Andrey Esipenko, guys, is a phenomenal chess player. Queen f2. Esipenko says, your queen is going nowhere, Pragg. I am keeping an eye on the f6 point. What is your plan next? I think what Pragg will do now is he will just simply play his bishop to e7, protect this further. Yes, bishop e7. Praggnanandhaa has played his bishop to e7, protecting the f6 pawn. Now what does Esipenko do next? He's running out of tricks. He's a pawn down. and Praggnanandhaa is all ready to enter his position. You know, Pragg, if he gets bishop e6 here, or bishop a6, or queen moves in, he's just completely in control of the game. Rook a1. So he wants to maybe enter from this side. That is his plan. And now what? Can we go bishop e6? Okay, if I play bishop e6, I'm a bit worried about rook a7. Trying to enter there. Oh, he plays bishop e6. Pragg is like, Sagar, it's nothing to tense. You get tensed unnecessarily. That's why you are an IM. You know, you just don't understand. Rook a7. I'll just take this. And then if you take this, I'll take this. But then there is knight d6, right? Rook c4. Just take it back. That's a free pawn. But I was just wondering, guys, take bishop c5, queen d8, bishop e7. Man, it's too much happening. Actually, Praggnanandhaa is seriously thinking about it. We plays bishop c5 first. And now Pragg goes queen d8 immediately. There was a very nice move here, by the way, guys. Rook d2. If knight d2, queen c5. If bishop d6, then rook f2. And then you pick this up. But Pragg quickly moved his queen and then bishop e7, knight e7. Because clearly you don't take queen e7, rook a7 and you lose the queen. So, I mean, there's some trouble there. Queen c5. What does black do now? Because white wants to enter here. Pragg goes bishop f7. Pragg is like, Pragg's bishop says to the knight, bye. I am making sure that you will not get pinned this way because I am coming in between. So when this rook will come here, you please move away. Go and live your dream. Maybe knight c8, attack the rook. So knight says, thank you so much, bishop. Let's see what Esipenko does here. Because I think what Pragg is doing is he is basically taking away all of the active opportunities from white. Like if you take queen b4, he will just take rook d2. And the point is, if you take queen d2 here, I'm sorry guys, there was a small lag, but we are back. c5 was played here. Everything's okay, everything's okay. Queen a5, queen d3, rook f1, queen e3 check, king h1, and this is the position. And now takes on c4. Praggnanandhaa finds another brilliant move, because now if you play knight c4, queen e4 check, and I'm mating you, so you can't even take. And now your rook is hanging. What do? You can move away your rook somewhere, but where? Let's say you go here, rook a1, then I go bishop e2. I want to give you a check and I want to checkmate you. It's no way. I mean, Pragg is winning once again. He's beating Andrey Esipenko. You can look at Esipenko there. He's come in with his queen to d8. He's trying to create some play, but Pragg so calm. He plays king f7. This is the thing about Praggnanandhaa. There he's just playing with his hair and he's finding these moves. He's finding these amazing moves. Just defends the knight. No hurry. I mean, he could take this, but then e7 would hang. So he's first like, calm down. Let me defend. Rook a1. But now bishop e2. Let's see if Pragg is able to. He can also take the knight. Clearly, this rook is going nowhere. Rook c1 check would come after taking the knight. So Pragg, let's take bishop b3, and Pragg takes it. Full focus, and Esipenko is like, oh my god, I've just blundered. He's so unhappy. He's so unhappy. He just didn't see. He's so unhappy. Oh my god, he's going to resign now. Pragg has won, and there a sigh of relief for Praggnanandhaa. Opens his bottle. I'm also going to, open my bottle. Pragg, what a game. What a game by Praggnanandhaa. And Esipenko is so unhappy. So unhappy here that he missed his chance. Pragg switches off his camera. Esipenko still shaking his head. He knows he was better out of the opening. He knew that he could have beaten Pragg. But somehow once Pragg got an advantage, he gave him no chance. And you can see how much this game means to the Russian player. He's so unhappy. He's banging his desk. Guys, chess sometimes is mental torture. The main point being that if knight b3, then here queen e4 check and mate. And the another point was that if you go rook e7 trying to checkmate me, then I am reaching your king first over here with queen g1 mate. So that's the reason why it was not working out. It wasn't working out. And well, it's almost 2 minutes since the game is over, but still Esipenko can't get over this defeat. Whew. Yeah, feel for Esipenko, but Praggnanandhaa just doing his stuff and doing it like a boss. All the games are over. We'll go over this. I think Levon is still playing against Artemiev. Artemiev is beating Levon. Is there any other game going on? No. So let's just have a look, but also let's have a look at the standings on the screen right now, because a lot has changed and Praggnanandhaa with this win is confidently moving towards the 8th position. Top 8. You see Praggnanandhaa on 11th position now with 12 points. And Nepo on 23. Nepo unstoppable. Anish Giri moving to joint second. Eric Hansen on number 2 position. Esipenko still 17 points. Number 4. Vincent Keymer 17 points. Vincent beats Alexandra Kosteniuk. So that is another victory. Magnus Carlsen on 16 points. He lost his game against Eric. Liren lost to Anish Giri. Levon Aronian right now losing his game against Artemiev. So Artemiev will also move to 16. Nodirbek on 14. But Pragg here moving up the ladder slowly and steadily, guys. This is going to be great fun now. 2 more rounds today. Let's finish this game that we are having right now between Artemiev and Levon Aronian, and see who is winning. Yeah, Artemiev is completely winning here. Next round, yeah, Alexandra Kosteniuk still on 0 points. She is having a very tough time here. Just like that knight on c8, it's trapped. That's how difficult it is. Life can be tough. Next round, just for all of you who are wondering what is the pairing like while we are watching this game, here's the pairing. Here's the pairing for all of you to see. It's going to be Vincent versus Vladislav, Artemiev, Niemann versus Kosteniuk, Pragg versus Nepo incoming, guys. Praggnanandhaa versus the leader of the tournament and Nepo World Championship challenger. Liem Quang takes on Esipenko. Eric Hansen versus Nodirbek. Liren takes on Magnus Carlsen. What an encounter we have there. Duda versus Anish Giri, another amazing. And we have Levon Aronian versus Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, another amazing game. Whew. So much action. Go nowhere, guys. Go nowhere. We're going to have some great fun. The next round begins in 11 minutes from now. You can, by the way, go and take some time off, because this seems like winning position for the bishop. Today we are seeing endgames where the bishop is totally dominating the knight. What's the time of Pragg's next match? It is at 12:30. Pragg seems to be hitman since yesterday, AJV says. Yeah. Pragg, you know, he started off with 1 draw and 3 losses on day 1. Then he beat Carlsen. Then he beat Aronian. He drew with Anish Giri. He drew with Nodirbek. And right now he beat Esipenko. pasta los PQ sauce says made my night. Thank you, Sagar bhai. Arey, where are you going? The night is still young. Insanely insane says Sagar bhai, परसों एग्जाम है, स्ट्रीम देखूं क्या करूं? परसों है ना, थोड़ा स्ट्रीम देख लो, then you can study afterwards. By the way, look at this smart king. I think if whatever we have learned, if the bishop can come to this square, it will dominate the knight. So I think somehow Artemiev is trying to do exactly that. Check. If you go here, knight b5. So let's keep. Manasvi Mishra says, looking forward to Pragg's interview after this tournament. Yes, for sure. For sure, we'll get him. We will ask Pragg. Abhishek Damle says, write those moves in your exam. You know, the thing is, it's not always about, of course, knowledge is one thing, but you also need inspiration, no, when you are studying and you are writing. And these games, I mean, if you look at Praggnanandhaa, the way he kept his cool in that winning position, that really can inspire you. I mean, if you don't know the answer, inspiration is going to do nothing. But if you will study tomorrow the entire day, all these little things will add up. Yes, I'll show the standing Shaibi after this game. Jay Amar Kumar is like, Pragg be like flower samjha kya? Upon fire hai fire. Pratik Bajaj says, Sagar, why did you see Tanmay said Sagar Shah is the best? No, he said it was on his vlog. Tanmay Bhatt, who is a very well stand-up comedian. He was going for a show where he was opening for Samay, and he said, oh, what, King C6? He said he did this flip thing, right? He said that we are now having the most famous chess comedian here, something like that. And then he said Sagar Shah is not here. So that was very funny because, of course, Samay is the most famous chess comedian. And that was like a flip. Okay. Yanis Dakshini says, Sagar, you have many trophies. Are those yours? No, these are, as I said, these are Prathamesh's, Amruta's brother, who's also a very good chess player. Someday I'll invite him for commentary. Disha Shah says, परसों कैम का फाइनल एग्जाम है सर. अरे तुम देखो if Nepomniachtchi के साथ Praggnanandhaa plays well, you'll get inspired to study all your chem stuff. Okay. How to win this endgame, says Aman. Yeah, I think you will have to trap the knight somehow. I mean, but it's not simple because Aronian is coming out. So here, bishop c5, knight c2, king e5. And the problem is now if the knight moves away, let's say here, what's the winning move for white, guys? कल सुबह मेरा एंड सेम है सागर सर. Guys, if you clearly have to study, please do study. Don't spoil that. But if you are enjoying this commentary, then stay back. And also, if you're leaving, please make sure to like the stream. And we've also crossed our milestone of 855 300 subscribers. Let's go to 855 400 subscribers, guys. Please do subscribe if you are enjoying this. Also, please like the stream. We have now just 1700 likes. Guys, come on, 2000 like तो कर दो यार. यहाँ पे बैठा हूँ मैं. Oh, 2228 likes. Okay, let's go to 3000. Let's go to 3000. What is that thing? By the way, bishop e3 checkmate. All of you are right. That's not what is happening in the game. In the game, what is happening is knight b5 happened. Bishop e3, king here, bishop d2. Slowly the bishop and the king will dominate the knight. How was it that sir was saying? He used to say that 4000 लाइक के लिए नहीं बैठा हूं मैं यहाँ पर, 5000 लाइक. Artemiev has 19 seconds. Win in that time is not going to be easy. Look smartly. He wants to get here, but then there's knight c8. If Artemiev gets his bishop to c5 and knight goes back, that's what he is looking for. No, 50 moves rule is not going to apply here because there's also a pawn move rule. How many moves have happened? Yeah, so it was move number 54 and we are on move number 86. That was 32 moves and now he's pushed this pawn. So again the counter is set to 0. And this time, I believe, he's getting closer now. Let's say if you go king g6, I go king c6. You give me a check, I go here. You give me a check, I go here. Trap ho gaya bhai. Trap ho gaya. Lost. Levon Aronian resigns. Artemiev after a long fight wins, and look at that. That expression says it all. He is tired but very happy to have beaten Levon. So with this, we move on to now the next round. You wanted to look at the standings. So here are the standings for all of you to see. These are the updated standings. Please go over them. Next round begins, and the game that we are all excited for is the leader Jan Nepomniachtchi against Praggnanandhaa. That is, I think, for me, the round of the day. And Nepo has been in tremendous form. If you think about it, how many rounds have been completed? 10. 10 into 3 is 30. The maximum points you can score are 30, and Nepo is already on 23. It's amazing. One minute to go. Nepo will be most difficult for Pragg. I agree. But Pragg has white pieces, right? That is something to make it slightly easier for him. Also, last round of the day is Pragg versus Kosteniuk, I believe. So Pragg might want to push there and get a full point. Pragg actually, if he plays well in this game, he has great chances of finishing in top 8. And there we have both the players on the screen right now. They have taken up their chair. I'm also very excited for Ding Liren versus Anish. Ding Liren versus Carlsen. Let's see how that goes. E4, E5. Ooh, are we going to witness the Petrov? No, he plays knight C6, bishop B5. Okay. Oh, we're seeing the Berlin. Let's see what Pragg does. Will he go for D3? Yes, he goes for the anti-Berlin fighting chess. Praggnanandhaa doesn't go for castles. Bishop C5, maybe C3, or bishop C6 is one line. There's also castles here. There's also knight D2. Let's see what Pragg chooses here. So many good options. He goes knight D2 here. Nepo castles. To play Nepo in this tournament with, taking on his openings, never easy, because he's prepared for the absolute best event, that is the World Championship match. Takes on C6. Of course, as we all know, taking on E5 before was not possible because of, I always ask, what's the move here? No, this tournament doesn't add to FIDE rating, Karthik. Until now, no online events have added to FIDE rating. So, oh, is Magnus drawing his game against Ding Liren, or what's happening? Oh, look at this, guys. Draw incoming. Let me quickly grab both of them. Ding Liren on your screen and Magnus Carlsen on your screen. Maybe they are just drawing the game. Oh, they've drawn the game. Magnus Carlsen didn't even try, yeah? CD 95, 94, knight d2, knight f6. And Ding Liren didn't try. I mean, Magnus was black, so okay, but Ding Liren, and I think Magnus just wanted a break from him not playing so well. So that was fine. You'll get Anish Giri and Jan-Krzysztof Duda on your screen because they are going to play against each other. It's going to be exciting. So draw for Magnus very quickly. He's drawn his game. Meanwhile, Nepo has 15 minutes 25 seconds. D takes C6. Yeah, by the way, Queen D4 was the move. I'm sorry if I forgot this. Knight E5. All those who saw it, Queen D4. Abhijit Jathar, Ayush Singh, Shashank Agarwal. Very good. Not Bishop F2. Bishop F2 is equal, but Queen D4 wins. So Knight C4. Whenever you see Queen, this is a good move, like possible, then you should also see Queen D4 because it could be stronger. H4 by Pragg. Wow. And he wants to go on an attack. B5, Knight E3, Rook E8 by Nepo. And here Pragg is thinking maybe he'll go G4. Like, Pragg loves to push his flank pawns, right? Against Esipenko, he went G5, G4. Today he's playing H4. Maybe he'll go G4, G5. Haha. Aritra Biswas says, I remember Pragg made the first move for Nepo in the last FIDE World Championship in which Nepo lost it. Yes, 1c4. Remember, Pragg was thinking, what would I play and what would Nepo play and stuff. And he actually guessed it correctly that Nepo will play 1c4. By the way, h5, h6 is one move. There's also g4. He goes h5. Knight goes to f8. Shall we go h6, then g6? Knight h4, knight f5. This looks good. You know, this pawn here, let's not push it because g6 anyway black wants to play. See, g6 takes away the f5 square. So maybe knight h4, knight f5. Krushank Jain, thank you for a super chat. Did I miss a super chat? Which super chat did I miss? Karan Walia, who says, Sagar Shah, thank you. You rock and you rock even better with Samay around. Love the chess community a lot. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Karan. And I agree with you that it's always fun having Samay around, but also we understand that he is having he's a busy man. Yeah, he has to take care of his stand-up comedy, he has to take care of his girlfriend, he has to do so many things. So busy man. And but he'll soon be back to chess. Of course, he was playing a lot these days, but he'll be soon back with COB, Gang Wars. Pragg goes bishop d2. Pragg says, भाई मेरे को push करना है कि नहीं, if I want to push or not, I'll think later. Let me first play bd2, and maybe somewhere he wants to play b4. Let's say if I go f6, then a very interesting idea could be b4 with the idea of a4, or directly b4, directly a4 as well. So the move that was played is a5, and now Praggnanandhaa has a couple of options after a5. He can go a4, seems logical to me. He can also go h6, he can also go knight h4, knight f5. Who is Anish Giri playing? He's against Duda, and I like Duda's position, but Anish must be in his prep. It was Nagozin. CD here, bishop g5, takes. He got c4. I mean, white should be slightly better, right? Because he has the center control here. These structures are definitely slightly better, but Anish is generally well prepared. He might have some knight a5 and c5 business that will go on here. Yeah, and I think if you play bishop e2, then I think c5 and black is just doing very well. So maybe bishop a6 is the only move here. Yeah, and he might do that. And then rook d8. Now maybe queen c3. Okay, slightly better position for white, but nothing special. Praggnanandhaa here, by the way, played knight h4. Oof. And look at Nepo, he goes a4. I have a feeling that Nepo is playing too quickly, and maybe he's just putting that pressure on Pragg. But look at Pragg. He is now graduating in that league where putting pressure on him by playing fast is not going to work. You will have to play good moves against him, and Pragg goes knight f5. Now clearly this knight is beautifully positioned. You don't want to play g6 ever, because after I take, I just open up the rook. My queen is all ready to enter. Knight h6 check is in the air. I could also sacrifice at some point. So you never want to play g6. So bishop takes f5 seems like the natural move, and then knight takes f5. Once again, the knight is beautifully positioned here. Knight e6, then so he took, knight takes, and he's played his knight to e6. The only question is, where does Praggnanandhaa put his king? Does he go castles? It seems not so good once you've played h4, h5. You can, but how about keeping the king in the center? Queen g4. Awesome move. And Pragg instantly Nepo goes king h8. Very instantaneous move. I was wondering, like, guys, let's imagine a possibility. If you play f6, then just bishop h6. Too much pressure, and queen d7 just loses to many ways, but knight g7. You can't take, your queen is hanging. So King h8, logical move. And now to see what Pragg comes up with. Whoa, Pragg goes rook to h3. Like, I'm going to get my rook here. But bishop f8. Nepo is just not thinking, yeah. He's just playing on his feel. He's just playing quickly. This is like the Nepo we know, who's always very fast. And you know, sometimes, guys, I can tell you that when you have worked hard on chess and results have not come your way, you have fine-tuned other things, but you have lost some of your strength. Like Nepo, very good intuitively, very good at playing fast. Because of his preparation, sometimes he might be playing slow. So what he has done is he has grown in strength in areas of preparation, maybe his chess understanding, and now he's getting back his skill which he has done for many years. So he might have not been doing that for some period, which was playing fast, but now he's got that back and he's applying it in his games along with his better preparation. So he's now become a stronger player. That's how people improve. There's always a phase where you go down because the new skills are not integrating well with your old self. Once you're able to do that, you become a higher version of yourself. Bishop e3 by Praggnanandhaa. Just small little move. c5. Again, you see, he's hardly thinking. And maybe he has a challenge for himself that don't go under 15 minutes. Acoustic vocalist says, what happens to rook g3? Isn't it strong? But you'll have no threat, you know. If you go rook g3, knight g7, this is controlled. So there's no threat of rook g3. Pragg goes rook d1. Maybe Pragg wants to go c3, b4. Now Nepo goes b4. Nepo is like, Pragg, if you play c3, I'll take and I'll open up lines against, and then your king will not be very happy on e1. Rajat says h6. Rajat, but h6, g6, you'll have to move away your knight. No, so let's not do that. Narendra Khandekar says, in anything, first perfection, then speed. Yes. But what if you are able to make good moves quickly and put pressure on your opponent with related to time? And that right now Pragg may not feel. He has close to 9 minutes. But if he thinks for another few minutes, he might really go low on time, and time can become an important factor. Vamit Mehta says, a very interesting plan. He wants to go rook g3 and then bishop h6. So if you take, he wants to checkmate you. Very interesting plan, Vamit. So let's say you go rook g3 and I play a3, bishop h6, I go g6. And somehow, although you will be able to open up the position here, I'll take with the f pawn and your rook is not here. So black is doing well here, no problems. Also, what Nepo can do is rook a6, trying to defend this way. But Pragg is still thinking, you know, whether I should go rook g3 or not, because once your rook is here, you really don't want to play g6. g6 hg just opens up the rook, but your rook goes to g3, g6 might become an important thing to consider. Oh, he's gone rook g3. He's played it. How about bishop c1, says Viraj. But Viraj, what's your plan? Bishop c1. Do you want to go b3, bishop b2? Maybe. Why not long castle, says Aman Dokiana. Well, Aman, if you would have gone long castle here, black would have broken with b3 and then activated his pieces down these files. Now Nepo is thinking and has gone below 15 minutes. But I don't think he will think much. Oh, he's, by the way, played a few more moves. Sorry, I'm slow. b3, he takes, Pragg takes and a3. So Pragg now has a very nice position because this pawn is slightly weak. His rook is also very nicely positioned. He's going to play king f1, king g1. And actually in the end game also, Pragg can have a nice thing. He can go bd2, bishop c3. This is also a passed pawn, don't forget. So positionally, white is better now after this b3 move that Nepo really blitzed out. b3. Then Pragg also blitzed out, takes an a3, which was a nice decision by Praggnanandhaa. Rook a4 has been played by Rook a4. Interesting. Well, bishop c5, interesting move, because then if bishop takes c5, you want to go knight g7. But then after queen f6, it seems like black is doing well. f2 is hanging, so can't do that. How about bishop h6 as a move? Then there is queen f6 defending. I have take. You can't take so much attack on h6. So bishop h6 does not work just yet. But I think Pragg can go king f1, king g1. I think that's a very good plan right now, because see, white does not have a very good way of increasing the pressure. So why not go king f1, king h6? Knight h6 you want to do, but knight h6 has only one threat, that is to take. I know that if you take here, there's a mate, but I'll play queen e7 and I'll defend this. Always consider good moves for your opponent. Don't think he'll blunder. Okay, Pragg goes bishop d2. It's also fine. He wants to sort of reposition his bishop on c3, which is a nice square for the bishop. Guys, Praggnanandhaa, very, very nice position for him. And by the way, look at Anish and Duda. Both of them have their hand on their head. What is happening there? Let's quickly go and get a glimpse of it. After bishop a6, he went rook c d8, queen c3, good move. Bishop e6, rook c1, c6, knight e5, bishop d5, knight d3. And Duda has a nice position here for sure, because he has this nice center, but he's also getting his knight to f4. And this pieces are not so well placed for black. AG, yes, definitely in some trouble here. But not, I mean, things are under control for him. But it could become bad. You can't even go b5 because your knight is strapped. And knight b3, you have rook b1. Prabodh says, why is c3 nice? Well, Prabodh, the main thing is that if you play bishop c3 here, then what would happen is that the bishop looks somewhere in the king's direction. I can open up with f4. Secondly, whenever you get your knight here, I can take it off with my bishop when my knight is superior to your bishop. And overall, this bishop is putting pressure. So let's say, let's just make some random moves, like say c6. It's a bad move. Bishop c3 and f6. Eventually, I want to look at f4 breaks or knight e3, knight c4. Even this positional idea, I mean, coming back here need not just be this, but could also mean knight e3, knight c4. You can't do that immediately, knight e3, because queen d3 is hanging. So perhaps a good idea is bishop c3, defending the d3 pawn and preparing knight e3, knight c4. And look at this. He's gone c4. He's like, I'm not giving up that square to you. And a good move. This is a very, very active move by Nepo. But it's not so clear if Pragg has anything to worry. Let's say I take rook c4. And now how to continue is the question. I mean, you can think about taking on b3 when you are a pawn up. But after queen a8, you start to think that maybe the king in the center is going to be under a lot of pressure. So c4 is a very good move by Jan Nepomniachtchi. Virat says, do you really want to commit this bishop on c3? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it was only meant to clear the e3 knight for the e3 knight there. But c4 is a good move. You can also do bishop c3 now. I think Pragg is thinking between those. Should he take the pawn? Should he play bishop c3? Oh, Jan has moved away from his chair. It's interesting. Maybe he's gone to the washroom. Praggnanandhaa still thinking about what to do, or he has played his move. He has played it. He's like, I'll play bishop c3. So Pragg has now improved his bishop, put it on a good diagonal, and if cd3, he will take with this other rook or even the rook dd3. Bishop to c3. Maybe Jan went away by taking permission from the arbiter. He's back. Let's quickly glimpse over the other games. Esipenko, Liem Quang, Liem. Esipenko, after losing to Pragg, seems to be going downhill. Look at Liem Quang, Liem. How much space he has. Amazing. Erik Hansen against Nodirbek. Maybe slightly better position for white, but still everything to play for. Ding Liren drew with Magnus. Anish Giri against Duda. I think, oh, Anish plays a beautiful move, c5. And his point is that after take, what's the move that Anish wants to do here, guys? Can you tell? What's the move? Shaibi Binoj beat me. Very good. The move c4 is just blunder, because after bishop takes c4, if you go rook c8, then I'll go knight e5 or knight b2, and you don't have b5. And if you try to do this, I'll take on d5, take on c3, take on c3, two pieces for a rook. So the right move is c takes d4 here, not c4, guys. C takes d4. You can't take with the queen because bishop b3. You can't take with the pawn here because of rook e1, knight e1, bishop b3, queen b3, and queen d4 when white is better. I mean, when the position is equal, not white is better. I mean, its position is equal. So cd4 is the correct move, but c5 is such a cool move by Anish. And I think this shows Anish is in great form. Managed to now equalize. And who knows, after a mistake, he can even take over. Going back to Jan Nepomniachtchi's game, after cd3, he took rook gd3, queen f6, f3 by Pragg, solidifying his position, and here he plays c5. Now knight f4 looks tempting, but why is this a bad move? Can you tell me? White to play. By the way, in terms of our subscribers, we are moving to 855, 400, guys. Please do subscribe, please do like the stream. Also, we have to close in on the 3000 likes mark. We are at 2635. So if you are enjoying this commentary, please do like the stream so that more people can discover it, more people can join in, and we'll have more number of people following this amazing tournament. So knight f4 is a clear mistake, and the reason is queen f4. Brilliant job done by Anshul Nanwani, Siddhant Sinha, Rishi Agarwal, Mohit Yadav, Serge Merto, Samir Sangam, Craig Faria, Harshit, Purvesh Sevak, Sumit Puri. Well, if you want to take part in these small positions that have been asked about, just write down the moves in the chat. The chat chess moves is developed by Keith Mascarenhas. Will take your move, pick it up, and here bishop f6, gf6, and rook b3. White is totally winning. So c5 here. Pragg, he didn't play knight f4. He played c5. Now Pragg has to decide what are the possibilities. There's knight d6 in the air. There's rook d7 in the air. There is h6 in the air. So many things. Queen g3 by Pragg. Maybe not the best move here. Pragg wants to put pressure here, and look at Nepo. He finds the best move here very quickly. And by the way, the position has changed drastically now. All of a sudden, Praggnanandhaa under huge pressure. I don't know what has happened. Nepo is also very surprised as to why did Pragg play this way? Why did he give me so many chances? And from a totally better position, Pragg has moved to a completely lost position. g6. You know what he did was he completely blocked his rooks. Why did he have to do this? Pragg could have gone rook d7. And if now knight d4, you don't have to take it. Go knight e3, knight d5. But the moment he played queen g3, knight d4, well, still you should not have taken it. You should have played around it, tried for something. I know that this check and all can be really worrying in the position. The moment he took king f1, g6, and now queen h4. I mean, Nepo can win in several different ways, but queen a6 seems like the fastest way to win because the knight is hanging, then c4 is coming, c4, c3 with check here, and Nepomniachtchi. Yeah, it is a positional mistake by Praggnanandhaa. Praggnanandhaa, I mean, the real mistake happened by playing queen g3. He allowed knight d4. And while knight d4 would have come in the position anyway, maybe getting the one of the rook in could have been nice. Also knight d6, bishop d6, rook d6 stops knight d4 for the time being, and could have been a nice position for Pragg to play. So yeah, I mean, you see guys that Nepo's strategy of playing fast did work out in some way. It put Pragg under so much pressure that he was unable to handle it. Oh, by the way, now Pragg takes the pawn, bishop f6, and you want to move the rook to d2. Yeah, he's done that. And now c3, I guess that's the point. c3, yes. B takes c3. Now rook takes a3. Even bishop takes c3 is possible, but rook takes a3, and now c3 is hanging. That's a weak pawn there. Praggnanandhaa is going to lose this. b2 pawn is very strong. Knight is out of the game. It's all changed. Things have changed. Badal gaye ho tum. That's like the position here. What about Anish Giri? What is he up to? Let's quickly check. Anish versus well, Anish seems to have, I mean, after this, Oh, Anish, did his opponent really take here? Anish took ED. This happened. Bishop B3. This did happen. White is not exchanging the queens because then, I mean, his a3 pawn could be weak and then black has two passers. So he's keeping the queens on the board. Someday it could be useful. And look at this position. Levon versus Mamedyarov. Knight or rook? Who is stronger? Levon plays crazy. D7, F5, E6 could get very dangerous, but the position is right now balancing out. Far from draw. Far from a draw. There will be many mistakes there. Meanwhile, Praggnanandhaa, after taking on taking here c3, b takes c3, rook a3, has played his rook to d7. I mean, if he gets rook b7, looking at this pawn, and the other rook enters on the 7th, I think white would be having excellent chances there, but I don't think it will be allowed. Like if you play rook b8, rook b7 here. Let's say first it's black to move. Now what should black do is a question. Let's say I go rook b8. I stop you anyway. And then you rook f7. There's already b2 and b1. So yes, f4, e5, trying to block the bishop is an idea, but f4 loses the e4 pawn, e5 loses the e5 pawn. So it's not easy to engineer that f4, e5. But now you can see how Nepo is taking his time here. He knows that this is the winning position. If he makes a few accurate moves, he will be winning his game. Rook b8. And now after this, Pragg goes, what does Pragg do? He plays f4, b2, and yeah, he will get an e5, but before that he'll queen. So I think it's time for Praggnanandhaa to resign, I think, because let's say rook b1, rook d1, rook a1, rook d1, bishop c3. King e2. If you take, rook a1, rook a8, king d3, rook a1, king c2. That's the plan. Yeah, if Pragg is able to get his knight back somehow, it would be great. But for now, it seems like he doesn't have time to do all those things. Let's say if I go here, I mean, very natural is king d3. But then check. King takes. Rook takes. And it's lost. b2, rook b1, rook a1, rook d1, bishop c3, king e2, rook a1, king d3, check. No, he didn't play check. He didn't play king d3 yet. He played knight f3. Pragg fighting on. So after knight f3 takes, rook a1, knight d2, king g7. Now the funny thing is that you can also take on b2 because of I mean d2 because of rook b2. And here's some defensive chances, but Nepo actually realizes what's the hurry to take here. Let's bring the king in, king g7, and make Praggnanandhaa decide what he wants to do. So Pragg can't move his rook, can't move his knight, moves king d3, bishop d2 here. King d3, bishop d2. Maybe better could have been rook b1, knight b1 and bishop e1. Idea of taking here, but what he's done is pretty okay. Bishop d2, rook b2, and now it remains to be seen if this is an easy win. This is winning for black for sure. Is it an easy win, or will Pragg be able to pose a lot of problems to Nepo? So he'll give a check, then h7 is under pressure. Start pushing the pawns. Well, some hope definitely for Pragg here. Some very small hope, very small, but it does exist. He goes check, king at 6. Pragg should be aiming for rook bishop versus rook. True, if he gets rook bishop versus rook, it would be a draw, and so black is not going to exchange one of these two pawns for sure. But Pragg has to start putting his weight on his passed e pawn, hoping that he'll be able to create some play. Also here, maybe his idea is to go here. Nepo has stopped this. Now rook c7. Bishop b2. g4. Wow. Will Pragg be able to hold this? He has only 36 seconds on the clock. Nepo has 9 minutes. But can he hold this? Because his threat is g5 and then take here. Maybe here bishop e3 would have been better to stop g4 because bishop takes f4 is hanging. But he goes bishop b2, g4. Now what to do? g5, I think. He has to play g5. Because g5, if you play fg, then not king g5, but king g6. Oh, he's played g5. Okay, what is he going to do now? Check on c6. And then king g7. Rook c7 check. King f8. So Pragg is ready to chop this pawn, but then gf4 will come. And then this pawn would be strong. And if he plays fg5, then maybe king g8. And now there won't be any more checks continuously because the king will come up. So king f8, very smart move. I still get, oh, he takes on g5, he takes here. King g8. And now what? King f2. Bishop d4. The main problem is that, these pawns have lost their ability to expand. It's like you have the same amount of hair on your head, but they are no longer flexible. So the pawn, like, they are three. But imagine the pawn was here. They would be so flexible. They could move together. But these are all mangled pawns. And they will be won sooner or later. Plays rook e3, attacking here. E4 is hanging. What to do? I mean, I want to exchange this g pawn for the h pawn. How do I do that? He goes rook d7. Bishop c5. If you take the pawn, there was maybe king f3. Look at Nepo, yeah. The speed at which he's playing is amazing. Let's go to Anish Giri game and see what is up with him. By the way, Abdusattorov beat Eric Hansen. And Anish Giri right now is in definite trouble. You know, how do you know how this is trouble? Because see, this position was equal. And so there is rook against two pieces and rook and pawn against two pieces. And when you reach this position, you still have rook and pawn against two pieces. It's the same. But this position is winning for white, while this position is a draw. The reason, what is the reason why this position is winning and this position is draw? Can anyone tell me in the chat? What is the difference? What is the difference here? Queen d4, good move by the way. Active knight and bishop. Yes. King safety, absolutely. Raj Anand. King is very weak now. This is the main reason. The bishop and knight, and also the activity of bishop and knight. Piece activity, but king position, I would say, is the main reason. So all those who are saying king position, well done. Shankar, Pabale. Who else? Yes, YNWA has hit both the correct things, activity and king safety. This is going to be winning for Duda. Anish will lose this. Meanwhile, Praggnanandhaa has slowly lost a couple of his pawns and will lose this game. Yeah, he fought hard. But, I mean, he was at some point even close to very big advantage. And Pragg will at some point throw in the towel. You know, one of the things that shouldn't happen, like let's say bishop g5, king g3, you shouldn't play this, I believe, rook e3. So once you play this after take, this is a draw, guys. Because look, the h pawn, I don't care about my g pawn anymore. This is a wrong colored pawn because the queening square cannot be controlled by the bishop. Bishop can only control dark squares. So I just go and sit here and black does whatever he wants. It's going to be a draw. The only thing that Esipenko has to take care of is not exchange the rooks, which he won't do. h5, nice move. Yeah, that is time for resignation now. I said Esipenko, sorry guys. It's Nepo. Look at how Nepo's smiling there. Sorry guys. Getting a bit tired today, but Pragg looking for his last hope before resigning. You can see there. Should I resign? Should I not? Should I play on? What should I do? Is there any hope? And 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, and resigns. Nepo, just a small smile on his face. Nepo has become very, very humble and modest somehow. He doesn't really think that he's achieving anything big in spite of, being in the lead. He's very calm. I think he just understands that there's so much more for him to do to improve as a player, even though he's one of the best in the world. And that just brings in humility. Okay, meanwhile, here Jan-Krzysztof Duda, step by step, increasing his pressure. G4 is something which should end the game. G4, and wherever the queen moves, check, and I win the rook. That should be over. Take, king takes. It's very simple. King takes is easy. And by the way, resignation there for Anish Giri before Duda could even make his move. He knew that there's nothing happening here after king f2. He might have one check here, but then after king g2, no more checks, and f7 is falling. So he resigned the game. Mamedyarov versus Aronian still continuing, and Mamedyarov versus Levon. The position is still kind of balanced. Want to see the leaderboard? Let's have a look at what the standings are. These are the standings. Nepo on 26. Anish lost, so he's on 18. Eric Hansen also lost, so he's on 18. Esipenko on 17. Magnus on 17. Liren on 17. Keymer on 17. Abdusattorov also on 17. And what is the last round pairing? Let's just have a look at that so you know what to expect for today. This is the pairing for the last round. Kosteniuk versus Pragg. Pragg might want to beat Kosteniuk. By the way, did Kosteniuk get off the mark, or like here? No, she's still on 0. 11 losses. Draw? Yeah, what did they do? Draw. They drew the game. Okay. So all the games have been completed. Oh no, Artemiev is still playing against Vincent. Kosteniuk lost to Hans Niemann. Nepo beat Praggnanandhaa. Liem Quang beat Esipenko. Nodirbek won against Eric Hansen. Magnus and Duda drew like in 11 moves. Duda won his game against Anish, a very nice game. And draw here between Mamedyarov and Aronian. So let's go to Keymer versus Artemiev. Black is winning here. 2 pawns up. Should easily be winning. Tomorrow is the last day in the qualifiers, and those who finish in top 8 then go into the eliminators. Rook e6 check. In which game? You meant rook e6. No, black is winning this. It has perfect pieces, but there are 2 bishops, so white is just hoping for some kind of a miraculous defense. Yeah, it's the last game now. After 1:30, I'm just going to take a short break. While this is going on, I'll put on some music here, and then we'll be back at 1:30 to continue this. I just want to make sure that I can continue the last round. We'll put some nice music, yeah? Guys, don't go away. Please like the stream. Yes, I'll be back for Alexandra versus why was rook e6 not a choice in Pragg game? Okay, one second. Quickly check that. Why was rook e6 not a choice in Pragg game? Here. Rook e6. Okay, just move the king. What's your plan? You mean king h5 here? You want to play? Then I take your king rook. So you got that. You move your rook away, then I play at g4. So it doesn't change anything. No, these are all copyright free music, so. Hello guys, welcome back to myself because many of you stayed back, so thank you so much. The last round is about to begin and I'm going to switch off the music unless you really liked it. But okay, let's get Praggnanandhaa on the screen. He's going to play against Kosteniuk. And also, yeah, let's first start with that game. We'll then have more games in here. Okay, there you have Kosteniuk versus Praggnanandhaa. And the game has started off the very different kind of an opening. I mean, it's a Rosolimo, e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, g6, castles, bishop g7, c3, with the idea of d4. In the game with Esipenko, he had gone e5, but that was different actually. It was not this, I think it was rook e1, if I'm not mistaken. So, c3, knight f6, Pragg goes, rook e1, castles, h3, e5 now, d4. Because if you take, I take, you take, then I go rook e8 and I will take on e4 next. So you can't allow that. So e5, d4, cd, cd, knight d4, knight d4, queen b6. Wow, this is Praggnanandhaa's preparation, guys. And now Kosteniuk is thinking what to do because she's a piece up. But if this knight moves, the bishop hangs, and if the bishop moves, this knight hangs. No, I mean, come on, guys. The main thing is that Kosteniuk is fighting really hard, and of course, she's lost all her games. But this could be her first win, and whoever loses to her is not going to feel great because everyone wants to win. You know, everyone wants to finish in top 8. So Kosteniuk can spoil a lot of people's event here by beating them. I mean, today Pragg, and then tomorrow 3 more rounds. Okay, question is this Pragg novelty or is this something that has been played before? Let's try to see. Let's try to see on our ChessBase board, which is our first link in the description. And let's see if that works out. Whether Pragg has come up with a new idea, then amazing. But as it turns out, this has been played before in how many? 10 games. 10 games have happened with this already. And we have had David Paravian, who has played this a lot. Shirov Tari. Oh, Vaishali has played it with white. See? Vaishali. If Vaishali has played it, then Praggnanandhaa knows about it. Because Vaishali is Praggnanandhaa's sister. Actually, some of the players who are smart, who want to prepare well against Praggnanandhaa, might also look at Vaishali's games. So, because, okay, Pragg doesn't play all of Vaishali's same openings, but he definitely would have an idea. So bishop c4 played by Kosteniuk, and now maybe Pragg takes on d4, and actually the best move here, guys, was to save this knight with knight f3, queen b5, and then knight c3, and then you fight for the d5 square. Like let's say queen a5, bishop g5, I'll take here, and knight d5. But Kosteniuk decides to save her bishop, which is logical. You want to give up your knight and save your bishop. But then after ed4, I think, which Pragg will play, you don't want to take here. Maybe it's also possible, but then queen e2, then the queen will get hit, bishop e3, knight c3, and so on. So ed4 is very logical. I think Kosteniuk wanted to play e5. and Pragg goes knight e8. The main thing is that you don't have natural squares for your pieces. Oh, he takes with the queen. Ooh. And Kosteniuk instantly takes back. Maybe she could have considered queen e2, but she decides to take back ed4. Now the most natural move is e5, but that is not a good move because of knight e8, and Pragg is going to do. His knight will be beautifully placed, but a better move would have been bishop f4. So now knight e8, c7, this is controlled, and next move you go knight d2. Yeah, so this would have been much better way to play bishop f4, but e5 so natural. And now Praggnanandhaa thinking, but what is there to think? I don't know. Okay guys, I have one question. Why is rook e8 a blunder? What is the nice move for white? Can you tell me? Very few people now, would have the energy. By the way guys, today we have reached 855, 452, and we are looking at another 48 subscribers to reach 855, 500. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. Shweta Walimbe says, rooting for Alexandra in this tournament. We have a special place for underdogs. True. No, Achint, you can't take on f6. Rook e1 is hanging. Aradhya says bishop f4. Chessholic. Very good. Chessholic. I like your move. Bishop d2. Well done. Chessholic and also Yash Gadia and Dev Yadav. You play bishop d2. And then you're threatening to take. The knight has lost its main square, so it goes here, but then g4. It's a typical idea. E5 controls here, this knight is trapped. So knight e8, I like this move. And as we discussed, Pragg wants to do this small little journey from e8 to c7 to e6. Magnus is playing against Jan-Krzysztof Duda. Let's get them on the screen. Tough opponent for Magnus after, a tough day, because Duda is has just beaten Anish, and he is in general, Duda is such a fighter that he would never accept short draws. So they played this line which is fashionable. Okay, knight f6, bishop e3. I think the main move is f4 here, I think. No? e3, d6, f3, knight e2, f4, h4, knight e5, h5, bishop c4. And Magnus already winning his game here. Has a winning advantage. Because I think the reason for that is knight d3 is such a cool move. Yeah? It's just amazing. Okay, let's try to understand what's happening. Firstly, hg, Duda should have taken fg, but he played hg, and now Magnus plays this. And the thing is that he's taken away the c4 square. So let's say if you go here, then a very good idea could also be just b3, or just take here, bishop takes, pawn takes, and long castle. And this bishop is horrible. White is winning. No, knight d3 is super strong. I think Duda missed this. This move is too good. Too good. Because now No exchanges. If you take it, I'll take with the pawn. I'll take away your square. And I'm going bishop at 6, take, queen at 6, and mate. What about Anish? Anish is playing against Levon. I guess generally they both have quick draws, but here Anish seems to have a small advantage. He's a pawn up. Let's go and see Praggnanandhaa's game. After bishop f4, Pragg went knight c7, she goes knight a3, and a very logical move now. Guys, what would you play here after knight a3? How would you limit both these pieces? Guys, what's the move? Chessholic is like, Magnus अब बहुत हो गया, अब जीत के सोने चलते हैं. Yeah, true. Oh, he goes 96. Although I liked a6. I like that you can stop this. Exactly. Abhinav Agarwal, Abil, Praveen, Anand Singhal, Sarvesh Nalavade. So many of you here in the chat are so alert. It's amazing. 96, bishop g3. Maybe the bishop could have also gone back here. She went here, b6. I just want to also show you the standings, because this is how Nepo, Artemiev, Giri. Number 3 is Giri. Eric Hansen, Esipenko, Carlsen, Ding. So if Pragg wins right now, he'll move to 15. And tomorrow, with 3 more games to be played still, I think he'll have good chances. He's still to play Artemiev. He's still to play Vincent Keymer. With Vincent, he has good score. And he's yet to play Hans Niemann. So tomorrow is a relatively easier day for Pragg. Relatively, yeah. All players are strong. Relatively easier day. Get Anish and Levon on the screen. She goes bishop d5 and rook b8. Rook ad1. I mean, I want to play bishop b7. Of course, if bishop b7 and you try to win your pawn this way, that's not a good idea, because then I have the bishop pair and I can take the d5. But if bishop takes b7, king, rook b7, then knight b5 with the idea of knight d6 or knight d4, and should be around equal. So I doubt if Pragg will get realistic chances of winning this game. But you keep playing, yeah, you will get some chances. Maybe b5 is the move, not liquidating with bishop b7. Let's get Anish versus Levon. What's happening? I mean, Anish has an extra pawn. This is where I think we should check, because where is Anish's new idea here? Did he outplay Levon? What happened? Let's check on our ChessBase. 16. It would be interesting to see. So let's go here. Castles This is all standard, you know. Bishop g2, knight c6, e6, queen a4, b5, b4, 39 games, and Levon has played already 2 games here. Rook c8, dc, bishop c5, knight bd2, castles, b3. This is a new idea here because Shankland and all other games have continued this way, but b3 is the new idea for Anish. And after e5, I mean, this is his prep, and he's now pawn up here, and he has, I think, decent chances, you know, guys, because after bishop b7, rook c2, let's just put some moves here. Rook c2, rook a5, and I'm putting pressure here. I've saved my pawn. Not easy. Plus my king has a good square here. You can't, okay, you can play for some kind of a mating attack. I'll go f4 and I'll get my king up. Meanwhile, after knight d3, it says almost as if Duda has frozen. Just 4 minutes left, and it's a very uncomfortable situation for Duda because what? Magnus went away? Why? Magnus's camera went off. He goes bishop e6 back. His idea is to come here. Can we go here? Knight c4, queen c1. Why not? Threat is to take, and bishop h6, queen h6. Just maybe he has to go give up an exchange with bishop h8. Okay, let's go back to Pragg's game against Kosteniuk. So Pragg did go bishop b7 here. Bishop b7, rook b7, knight b5. And now, yeah, this was exactly what I thought was not the best, because after a6, knight d4. Of course, you don't want to take, because if you take, then rook d4 and pressure here, white is better. So you go rook c8 and you hope that your opponent will take so that your pawns get reorganized. So let's say Pragg goes h6. Interesting. Why would he go h6? Like, what is the logic? Take? Maybe he wants to go d5. No, I don't think d5. Oh, he plays d5. That was his idea. Interesting. Okay, what if I do knight c6 here? Maybe rook c7, yeah? Or rook c8. So what was the problem if I did like a6 here and d5? Take, rook c1. And white is slightly better. So the question is, in the game after h6, take, d5, knight e6, fe6, rook c1. What is the issue here? I mean, why is this position any different with g5 or what? Not sure. He plays knight to b5 first. Pragg goes to d7, f3. Maybe now Pragg has a strong move in d4, rook c8. These two look good. Oh, Levon drew against Anish already? Oh, why? Why did Anish draw this game so quickly. Rook c8, f4 he played. F4. Maybe this is what we were talking about, right? Bishop here would have been better. F4, rook c2, rook a5. Check, king here, check. Now if I go king here, still a check, king here, still a check. If king f3, then I have bishop c6. So, draw, I think f4 was a very hurried decision by by Anish, sorry. He should have played bishop b7. Freeing up. Well, Magnus has gone bishop h6. He's just going all out here, and he will be able to win this. I think the best practical defense could be to play bishop h8, but he's gone knight h5. Well, there is a nice sack here, guys. Can you find it? So rook h5, very good. Anshul Arnav takes, and now if you want to go queen g5, there is knight g6. So first, can I take on? Can I take on e5? Then bishop e5. Some hope there, but the best is to take here, take here, take here, take here. Check, check. Maybe here I can take on e5 with the check, and then there are many ways to finish it off, but most simple seems like a check, bishop d3 and long castle, and looks good. So Magnus going to beat Duda. Meanwhile, Praggnanandhaa's game has moved ahead a bit. After knight b5, h6, he took d5, knight b5, rook d7. Rook c8, rook e2, rook c5, knight d6. We have to see now how Praggnanandhaa continues here. Maybe there is d4 in the position. Yeah, pushes the pawn. Now. Maybe some threats of bishop e5 could be in the position. So this is looking pretty dangerous for Kosteniuk because the knight is beautifully positioned. This pawn, which was at first weak, has now moved ahead on d4 and is a pretty strong pawn. Also, bishop takes e5 in the air. This pawn could become weak. If you play f4, you are putting more pawns on the same color as your bishop. So I think Pragg has managed to create his chances here even from equalish positions. That's what happens. And also Kosteniuk must have lost a lot of self-belief. So when you lose 11 consecutive games, it's never easy. Never easy. Let's quickly go to the game of Magnus. That's exactly what we thought has happened. After rook takes h5, he took. h5, knight e5, de, queen g5, king h7, take here, bishop d3, and now Magnus is going to long castle, bring his rook to h1 and checkmate here. And Duda has resigned. Magnus Carlsen has won. Duda loses in just 20 moves. Biswa award. And Magnus, in spite of having, Magnus, in spite of having bad days by his standards, he might still very well, be close to the lead. Not the leaders, but one of the top spots. f4 has been played by Kosteniuk. She has placed her pawns on the same color. She's trying to gain space. Maybe Pragg can go h5 here. Or something else. Maybe rook a5. By the way, Ding Liren seems to be in a very dominating position against Nodirbek. And Artemiev having a very pleasant position against Shakhriyar Mamedyarov. Nepomniachtchi winning his game against Liem Quang, unstoppable Nepo. Playing amazing chess. Meanwhile, Praggnanandhaa's opponent Kosteniuk, after f4, rook d5, takes control of the c file. I like how Praggnanandhaa responded at 10:19 to Sachin Tendulkar's tweet. I don't think, I guess it was his manager maybe who has responded while Pragg is playing. But clearly a great gesture from Sachin to, tweet about this. I'm also thinking that here, king h7 I liked. But also think about this move, f5. And it might seem completely illogical. Is ef6, there is bishop f6, and then the knight has to move away. So not taking, but after f5, you're giving a passed pawn. The knight is very solid. But my logic is that if I can get g5 successfully, then I'll put a lot of pressure on white. So king h7 here. Well, Vincent Keymer versus Hans Niemann is also an interesting game to follow, but Vincent has completely winning position after 25 moves. In fact, the opening only just completely lost here. Bishop c5, queen d3, knight a6, castles, bishop f4, d5, d1, d6, bishop e5, knight bishop f4, a3, e4, d4, e5, knight b5, takes, knight e5. Knight takes d4. If bishop takes d4 here, then maybe queen e4, attacking here and here. So that's the reason why I get queen f6, knight e3, rooks d8, knight c5, pawn takes c5, queen e4, queen f5, and yeah, white is just winning this. Go in here, take these pawns. That is better. Going back to Praggnanandhaa versus Kosteniuk game. We have some things have changed, and Praggnanandhaa has got a very big advantage. Rook c2, king h7 goes b4. Now Pragg goes g5, knight f4. Very good move. And the point is that now e5 is really weak. So you take, I take, and you play f6 here. But then bishop takes, pawn takes, and rook. So if you think about this position, black is better here because black is a pawn up, f6 is weak. That's exactly what is happening here, guys. gf4 has happened. Now e5, you cannot let it fall. It's so difficult as someone like Alexandra to fight in such positions. It's very tough after 11 losses, and she has always maintained her calm, her cool. She's fighting hard, and I think that means a lot. Take. How do you defend this e5 pawn? Yeah, Aryan Kedia, I mean, Nepo has been in good form. And what I like about him is his attitude in general. He doesn't think he's doing anything special. He's just playing, and he's just like the way he beat Praggnanandhaa, he hardly thought. He's just quickly making his moves. Look at this. Nepo has a nice position, but some drawing chances, no, here. Black has 4 pawns, white has 3, but the rooks are too active and the bishop has nothing to hit upon for now. And Nodirbek versus Dinglijan better. The position. Oh, f6 on the board, guys. f6 on the board. Two good moves here. Bishop f8 and bishop takes f6. And Pragg goes bishop f8. Yeah, that's also a nice move. Bishop f6 was good, but now this is hanging. If you move the knight, e5 would hang. And if you play knight c4, then I take bishop b4. Let's see what Kosteniuk comes up with now. Oh, rook e2 has been played here. Pragg now can actually take on d6 and play the rook endgame, because not only does he win a pawn here, guys, on d6, he also wins the pawn on f6. Another idea could be to push d3. Let's see what he plays. He has 3 minutes. Kosteniuk has 1 minute 50 seconds. Meanwhile, Vincent Keymer has just sacked on g5 because his bishop was hanging, and then he will take on e5. Okay. Pragg is still thinking what to do. He can take on d6, but takes, rook takes, d6. Well, maybe he could have taken with the. He could have played d3 here. If rook goes passive, then I'll take here. If rook e7, then rook d6 would have been nice. And if rook e4, then rook d6. And if rook f4, d2, here rook c6, and this better position. Oh, but here he goes f3. Pragg actually is giving back his material, but maybe it was better to push d3, d2. So let's say d3, rook takes f4, d2, and next move I want to do this. So rook f2, let's say, b5. It's not easy to hold this, but Pragg has pushed his pawn back and given up material. f3, gf3. Let's see if he can still. d3 has to be played. Two minutes 8 seconds for Praggnanandhaa. 1 minute 34 seconds for Kosteniuk. Pushes his pawn to d3. Nice move by Pragg. Magnus has won. Magnus has won his game against Duda. Anish lost his game to. Drew his game to Aronian. She goes rook d2, and now why not take this? I mean, free pawn. Also, you can bring your king in and take this with the king. King f2, king f6, king e3. Maybe an idea could be rook e6, because take check. Oops, sorry. Yeah, he played rook d5, but that's it. Here, 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 king g5, and take this. Okay, in the game he went king f6, king e3, rook d5, rook c4, check, king f2. This is the position on the board right now, the live board. King f5, Praggnanandhaa bringing his king in to the position. Rook endgames are generally considered as very troyish, and one pawn often is not enough. But here, black has more advantages than just one pawn. Firstly, it's a pawn. Secondly, there's a rook behind the pawn, which is very good. Thirdly, the king is very active, and that could help him a lot. King g5, maybe f4, king h4, e5. Sure. King g6 back. Played here. Check. Sorry guys, there was a small disconnection, but I'm back. Rook h4 attacks this pawn. He goes h5. Pragg playing slowly and steadily here. You don't hurry up. You don't hurry, guys. You just play calmly. And now rook d5 seems good. Rook d5, good move. The rook goes behind the pawn. And rook is like, we are investing everything into your future. And white's main problem is that one of his rook is tied down always. At the same time, this rook does not know what to do alone because all the other weaknesses are well covered. If he tries to attack here, then black goes and attacks other pawns. So we have some moves on the board. So after rook c4, rook d5, king e3, check, king f2. मुकुंद कृष्णा से सागर भाई में स्नैक्स लेके बैठ गए हो, होना मत. This is, he was king g6. Yeah, well, Pragg is not clear yet how to play for a win, and I think that is natural because he has such little time. 50 seconds for Kosteniuk. She goes rook c3, rook d5 back for Praggnanandhaa. Defending this, king e3. No pawn endgame is going to be good for white. So actually Pragg can maybe just play b5 in the position or king g5. Goes king f5. So take on d3, take on d3 does not work. So rook c4. So just for you to be clear, take here, take here, take here, take here, take, and 4, king e2, king g3, and black is winning. So that was the point of not taking the pawn. So Kosteniuk went here, Pragg played f6, and now rook h4. I think just back. Rook c4. Rook e6 by Pragg. Pragg has won now, 1 minute 8 seconds. Kosteniuk has 1 minute 16 seconds. And here's a check to the king. A3. The Kosteniuk fighting hard, that's for sure. She's not giving up, she's fighting hard here. Praggnanandhaa, although the engines say clearly winning, has to find a human way to break through. Five. Rook e2, then trading the rooks, he can win the flank one by check. Adarsh GR. Well, Adarsh, you don't want to give up this pawn. The rest of the pawns are perhaps less valuable and can be made. But so rook c8. Well, what should Pragg do is the question. Can he go rook d4? The idea of... Yeah, he does that. He goes rook d4. He wants to attack this pawn. Rook h8. It's a good move. Well, take here and take this. Good drawing chances here, no? For... Rook h8 and black has to play. What should black do here is the question. Just 1 minute 12 seconds for Kosteniuk, 28 seconds for Praggnanandhaa. Goes rook h8, and now actually you have two ideas. One is to take on h4, I think, but then after rook h4 he takes on d3, which shouldn't happen. So the other way is to go king f4, because then your rook defends here. And Pragg now figured out a way to break in, it seems. After king f4, rook h6, rook d6, rook h7, rook e3, rook f3, king e3. Praggnanandhaa is totally winning. He's got his king in the game. d2 is coming. And Praggnanandhaa very close to victory now, guys, with his d pawn. He has an extra pawn. Look at his king, how quickly he managed to activate it. d2 has been pushed. Rook h7, king e2. And Praggnanandhaa has won. Kosteniuk has resigned the game. This king has made a very nice walk all the way, like something like this. And Pragg has won. That means Pragg gets 3 points there. Very important points for Praggnanandhaa. Quickly, let's have a look at the scorecard now. We have only one game going on, Eric Hansen and Esipenko. Apart from that, if we see, Nepo is on 27. I think Nepo didn't convert this position into win, or he won. No, Nepo drew. Okay. Nepomniachtchi drew his game. Then Magnus has managed to reach its joint second position, 20. Artemiev also on 20. Anish Giri on 19. Abdusattorov on 18. Liren on 18. And Praggnanandhaa has moved to 12th position. Doesn't change his standings, but has gained few points. Is on 15th. If he wins the game, he might well reach 5th. Like if he wins tomorrow and does well, he can do really well. Pragg, and by the way, Anish Giri is on 19, Vincent Keymer on 20, Artemiev on 20, and Praggnanandhaa right now on 15 points. And tomorrow 3 more rounds, so if he can do well. But Kosteniuk on 0 points. She has had a tough event. She's yet to play against some strong opponents like Liem Quang, Erik Hansen, and Liren. So yeah, it's going to be tough, but thank you all for following, and I'll see you all tomorrow back at my home place. Most likely I'll travel from Pune to Mumbai, and then I'll see you all late in the night again with Pragg fighting it out against 3 more opponents. His realistic chances of winning here were a great game by him right now. Just in the rook end game, he won it coolly and calmly. We have also 7 less subscribers than 855 500. So guys, please do subscribe. And yesterday was a very nice day for chess because everyone was talking about Praggnanandhaa's victory over Carlsen. So today basically, and it was so nice to see that everything was coming in newspapers, news, trending, and all of that. So Sachin tweeting and all of that was really cool. Take care, guys. One more person left, and I'm not going to wait, because if I wait, then it's never going to happen. So I'll just end there. Yes, it has happened. It has happened. 501. Thank you all. Bye bye. Good night. See you.